How's everybody? We're going to start this thing off proper. And you know what that means? Well, it means playing this intro in 3, 2, 1. CORE! Well, howdy, and welcome to another episode of CORE, the only podcast called Tasty and Nutritious by Foodie Magazine, 4 years running. Did you guys know that? That's great.
I didn't.
Not.
That's just another feather in our cap.
I know, that's
How
what I
much
was
do we
thinking.
have to pay him for that?
Nothing. They just said it.
Oh,
You know, they seem to be enamored with us and not so much the other way around. Their loss, our win. Anyway, I made it all up. Let's talk about a quick thing here real quick. Glad to have you all here, by the way. It's me, John, and Beau doing the CORE podcast, and there's plenty to talk about. I did want to make an announcement, though, or at least make it more of an announcement here, even though it's sort of already been teased. But the instance is hitting a 2.0 phase and coming back as a monthly show. I know, very exciting.
Is this the first time you're talking about it, or have you mentioned it?
First time I've talked about it on another show besides putting up that teaser, yes.
Oh,
Because I had a bunch of...
That was some S tier. You got real buzz going with that.
I did.
yeah.
It
we're
went
the
well.
instance drop show. That's great.
That's of course we are. I mean, here's the thing: like the guild that'll be around in and around sort of the game talk and stuff. It'll be the CORE guild. I mean, they're inexorably connected as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, you may have seen the teaser, maybe you didn't. I put it up on YouTube and up on the audio feeds. But the first episode will hit the week of the new expansion this month, the War Within, when that lands. And lots of details to come. Keep an eye out for it. Tomorrow I should be putting up a video that will detail a bunch of things. I'm not going to go through those now. But for now, you can go get subbed at frogpants.com/instance. All the feeds are there. It's working on Apple Podcasts. I went and verified the feed works everywhere. And I think it should work if you're already still subbed to the old feed. If not, let me know. But, should be okay.
Nice surprise for some people who didn't. Just been like, well, I guess that podcast stopped updating.
Yeah, right. I hope they know. But anyway, it's there and available for you to get sub to early. And like I said, tomorrow sometime I'll be putting up a YouTube video that will have a broader description of what you can expect. And I'll answer questions like, why not weekly? I have an answer to that, a very specific one. Why World of Warcraft again? I have answers to that and more. So check it out. frogpants.com/instance. Okay.
Yeah, and I think just to do a check-in on this, when you talked about the CORE Guild, I think I'm playing. I'm pretty sure I'm playing. Sounds like you'll be playing.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm playing now.
And so when you're
playing
in the guild...
now?
Not this second. No, I'm doing the show.
I was like, man.
I
don't
mean
know
in
if I
general.
No
believe
wonder
that.
the instance is back. Scott can't get through a show without playing.
No. I wish there was. Well, there probably is a way, but I don't. I wouldn't play during a show.
The $1 million question is: will John be playing with us?
That's the $1 million question. People care that much?
I mean, I think people care.
They
I think they care. I think they're like,
listen, they like playing with the hosts. If I've learned anything in my time in SOD, all the wonderful people who play with me in Classic, it's fun. It's fun to play with a guy that you listen to every week.
Yeah.
For some strange reason. So,
I agree.
I
agree.
think there's people that would love to play with your Final Fantasy loving butt.
Yeah.
Or-
It's going to be great. A quick note, too, that a lot of people have been joining up like crazy for the new guild, and that's nice to see. It's also it's new, but it's old. We already had it going. It's just there's a lot of renewed interest because of the new expansion coming. There was already a lot of stuff going on in Classic that will continue. And the other thing I was going to say about all of that was, there's a whole area in our Discord, frogpants.com/Discord, where you can apply to get in the guild, and we don't require much. Just get in and have fun. It's also cross-realm now, so you don't have to come to our server. We don't have to go to yours. You don't even have to be Horde and Alliance, I think. Hold on.
my understanding is you can play with any character. So
Yeah, I think that's
all
right.
friction should be removed.
We'd love to have you. So come join us. And if we have so many that we have to do secondary guilds, we'll talk about it when we get there. And if you're already in AIE and you're having a ball, great. That's awesome too. That still exists, and that does a ton of games, not just WoW anymore. So lots of ways to play and have some fun. Now, this also is an important moment for me to mention this. Tanner, a good pal of the program, also currently Guildmaster on the retail side, is going to give away, or he already has it, he's going to give away, starting tonight, a heroic edition of the expansion, The War Within, the
Whoa.
heroic edition. Yep. To one lucky Core listener. Only people on Core are getting this, and I've made a special link for you people. Go to frogpants.com/contest. All right? frogpants.com/contest.
Right on the nose.
Don't tell anybody else because it's a real secret link. And
That's
nobody
right.
else will be able to discern.
You'll
it,
never
so.
be able to figure it out. But yeah, it's up there. There's a little nice holder image with Anduin and Thrall checking out the sword.
You guys went hard on this.
It wasn't that hard. I just kind of whipped it together.
No, I know, but it looks nice. You know, it's cool.
And all we're going to ask you for is your name, your email or Discord so we can contact you if you won, your BattleNet ID so we know who we're sending it to, and anything else you want to say, this little comment thing. That's not required. You don't have to. It's going to be random. But go now. Go sign up now. That's what I'm saying.
If it helps, I think it's the copy I also turned down because I pre-ordered before this contest. Tanner was like, "Do you want a free copy?" And I'm like, "I pre-ordered it like at BlizzCon last year, so no."
Yeah, you were early on that.
So there's extra value on it. I rejected this one, so there's some. It makes it extra good.
Yeah, it's had your breath on it or something.
Yeah.
And it's.
Do you guys ever notice that Anduin's appearance matches WoW players' spirit? As you chart like the course through the entire series of Warcraft, like he starts as a fresh, young, like excited for the world person.
That's a good observation.
Making me choke. Making me choke.
I didn't notice that, but now I notice it.
The comparisons are, in my mind, I could be wrong, but I think that what we're looking at there is Metzen before, or Metzen when he left Blizzard is kind of Anduin right here.
Yeah, like you can't use him to judge the quality of the upcoming expansion. This is just the state that he's in post what we've experienced.
Yeah, but I will die on the hill that Dragonflight's a rad expansion and one of their best. I'd put it up there with Pandaria. I'd put it up there with Legion. I think it's that strong. It's very good.
Sure, but he wasn't in it.
No, you're right. He wasn't in it. He wasn't in it.
So he's a big empty space.
Wait, was he in it? He wasn't in it.
No.
Yeah, he was he was convalescing from his possession thing.
He was still hanging out in Shadowlands.
Yeah, you make a really good point. I don't think we saw Thrall either this expansion. We didn't see Jaina much. I mean, we see him now because there's a transition happening. There's a little story in there, and they all showed up. But I don't think. I think you actually make a good point. But anyway, I want you guys to be there and check it out. It will be monthly, like I said, and more details should hit tomorrow. All right. All right. Let's dive into some of these games that we played.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Oh, man, we have games that we played. Games. So we didn't put it in shared just because it's just a very small mention for me, but I did play some Final Fantasy as well. I still think that thing is so well suited for the Steam Deck, it's impossible not to want to play it, especially if I can't be playing WoW, because right now I'm way hooked back in. I go to bed and I'm like, I need that feeling. I need to feel an MMO in my hands. And so I'll play a little Final Fantasy in bed. It's great. So I've been doing that.
How far are you? Have you concluded the Stormblood storyline? Or
no.
Heavensward storyline?
Oh, yes. I think I have finished that. But it's also hard to tell when you have in the patch content because it just sort of transitions.
I feel like you would know.
Will I know? Okay, maybe I haven't.
What's the last big boss you fought?
Oh, geez. Well, am I still supposed to fight Nidhogg before things move on?
Okay, let me just ask you. Have you fought Nidhogg?
No, not yet.
You have not finished Heavensward.
Okay, I think I'm close then. Yeah, I need
probably pretty close.
Yeah, WoW kind of got in the way, but I did play a bunch, and it was a good time. However, what I did mostly play was World of Warcraft, and the War Within pre-patch content. I have to say, I'll probably say this a lot on that episode later this month, the thing that impressed me the most with content that I had missed since I dropped out, last year or whatever it was, earlier this year, was them introducing the follower dungeon thing. And people are going to be screaming, they already did that in Final Fantasy. I know. This idea that you can take some AI companions into a dungeon and play that dungeon is not new to the genre, but it's new to WoW.
It wasn't even new to Final Fantasy. So,
no, plenty of them do
it's well done there, but it's not a new idea.
No, and I think it is very well done here. If I only had one complaint, it's that it's comically easy. You could say that that's probably true of the Final Fantasy ones, as long as you're, familiar with the mechanics, you're fine, right? It's not like it's extra hard. And that makes sense because
it's easier because the companions will do the mechanics really well.
Yeah.
So you can just do what the companions do. I can't tell you the amount of Final Fantasy dungeons I go in blind. I don't know what's going on, and I just go, "Oh, he's about to do a move."
Yeah.
Well, what's Y'shtola doing right now? She's moving over there. I'm gonna go over there with her.
I do love when they're in there with you. I love that when they're part of your party in the story. I love that. Because they act like idiots in there. Compared to outside, Y'shtola is very, yes, we need to figure this out. There's a problem with the thing or whatever. And then you take her into a dungeon. She's just like running around doing all this shit. And you just can't take her serious. But
Although
anyway.
I will say one of my favorite factoids. Sorry to hijack the WoW segment. I promise I'll stop. But one of my favorite factoids is later. There is a trial in the game that you do that you can bring your AI companions into. Normally you can't do that in trials. They don't usually let you. You have to do those are what you have to do with other players right now.
Right.
But there's one where they let you do it. And the characters will not always execute the mechanics properly in the trial, except Y'shtola, who will always perform the mechanics perfectly.
Why? Why doesn't everyone else do like she does?
She's the smartest one.
Well, I do like her.
She's the one who's going to get it right. That's a weird factoid I learned about that trial, was that the rest of the group will occasionally fail mechanics, but Y'shtola in general will solve everyone correctly.
She's the only person in the entirety of Final Fantasy XIV I consider like game crush for me. I really like her a lot. And I didn't think I was gonna, because I first met her. I'm like, all right, rabbit foxhead or whatever you are. What kind of bullshit is this?
Neither of those things.
Yeah, no, right? I was just very dismissive. Like, I was just like, okay, another animal character. She got a tail. I do not care about this. And I was just annoyed. And then she grew on me very quickly, and now I really like her. I mean, not in a creepy kind of John in junior high kind of way.
Send body pillows, care of Scott Johnson.
Oh yeah, but we're back to the body pillows. Get those coming. We never did see one. Oh, I guess I did.
Yeah.
I got a somebody sent me a body pillow, right? Am I remembering that right?
Did they?
They did, but it wasn't like a anime one or a waifu.
Oh, it was just a long pillow.
Just a long pillow, which I still use.
It was a body pillow in waiting.
Yeah, it's waiting to get painted up, I guess, or whatever I'm gonna do. But anyway, back to WoW for a second.
Okay.
It's the transition story for this new patch, the stuff they put into the game. I know I was gonna say about follower dungeons. That was my whole point.
Yes.
I've gone through my entire 20 years of playing World of Warcraft. And I say 20 because even though we're not at the 20th anniversary till November, I was playing the open or the closed Friends and Family alpha and beta in 2003, right? So technically last year was my 20th anniversary in WoW. And in that entire time, I've never felt completely comfortable or myself in dungeons of any kind, even with friends. With randos especially, but even with friends, I just never felt good. I was like, I'm going to screw something up. I will step in the poop and end the dungeon run. This heroic will die because of Scott. I don't know where we're going. Where did that cave take us? Did everyone skip the cutscene or just me? Like, you know what I mean? Like always feeling like I don't know what that I'm not really there. I'm not really having fun, let alone seeing what this dungeon is for its aesthetic and for its story or for its cool layout or awesome glyphs or, all these things that are in these things. I was just kind of, okay, I'm coming. Oh shit. My pet's being weird. Like just always like that. So these present a way, and this is also true in Final Fantasy for me anyway. These AI controlled companions provided for the first time a zero pressure experience. The easiness aside, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, just the social pressure of it all gone, because they're all just back there waiting for me to lead. And if I can't, there's a button to hit, and the little dwarf mage lady will take over and run to the next place you got to go if you're lost, it's easy not to get lost, but if you need her, she'll do it. And she'll go, looking for some magic? I can lead the way. And then you can toggle it off. She's like, okay, you lead the way again or whatever.
I'm the exact same way in dungeons, honestly. Like, I know it doesn't make sense because I'm also the guy that hides from trash and opens boxes when he's told not to. But like, I am generally, when I'm not running with friends, I am the person that's like, oh, I don't want this responsibility on me. This is
Yeah, I
too
don't
much.
like it.
I can't do this. And it's why I've always been pure DPS. Like a lot of times the tank, I've never really had the healer fantasy, but a lot of times the tank, it's like, oh, that'd be cool to be frontline and sword and board, or, you know, just be a badass tank. And I never did it because it's like, well, okay, take all the anxiety I feel about being one of a bunch of DPS, and now I'm like one of two, you
Yeah.
know, and put that pressure on me. And it's not what I was going to those games for. And so I was always very hesitant, and I would like to say that I felt that I got better at it, but it felt like it got worse because when I played Dragonflight, I was like, oh, I should just get in and do dungeons. And my Final Fantasy brain was like, yeah, just go in and do it. Like, yeah, just get in. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then old WoW brain came back and was like, they're gonna yell at you, man.
They're gonna be mad. They're gonna
Like,
kick you out.
This isn't the same. This isn't the same. You don't have any add-ons installed, dipshit. You thought you could do this without add-ons. How are you gonna know to run away if you aren't having somebody say "run away, little girl" at you every time fire appears in the room?
Right.
You're not gonna be able to do it. And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then it was right at the time, because I was getting back into Dragonflight right when they announced that follower dungeons were going to be a thing, but they weren't in the game yet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, they're adding it to the game. I'll just wait to do dungeons until that's in the game. So
yeah.
It's good to hear that it's nice.
It's nice and it's well done.
I really want.
Yeah, it's well done. I hope they retro apply it to all previous dungeons and let us go through those in a way that would let us, you know, complete some transmog and see dungeons we never saw before. But here was my direct experience. I go in there, all these are robots behind me. I don't have to prove anything to them. And I can just suddenly go, oh, look at the layout of this. Look at these NPCs over here. I never noticed this. Or, wow, what a cool way to transition from this area to the other area without just a portal. Instead, we're flying on some wind or something. Like, I'm actually enjoying the artistry of these places. And prior to this, I never felt like I could take the time to do it. And they were always just chaos monsters to get in there. And hurry up and get your loot and get the F out. Like, it was that kind of feeling. This one is, I can take my time. Hell, I can AFK for 5 minutes and go pee. I can come back. They're all waiting for me. I keep going. I fight bosses and think about their mechanics instead of someone yelling at me what they are. Like, I actually really think these are awesome. And I wish they'd have been in the game a long time before this, because I would see every dungeon multiple times. I would work on transmog. They may not be the best item level drops that you're going to get in heroics and mythics and all that, but they're good. And
now they unlock for with warbands, like instead of just going for the class you have, you can go for all your classes in general. So now if you go through and you run an old dungeon or run a dungeon, you know, any gear you get is theoretically gear you can use for your transmog, because it's all shared. So yeah, I soloed it on my rogue, or I went through with an AI group on my rogue, but I got this really cool piece of plate armor. If I decide to go play my paladin, I almost said job change to paladin. I caught myself. If I decide to go through and play on my paladin, that character has access to that gear too. Because as somebody that like very much focused on my rogue when I was playing WoW, and only my rogue, but then would occasionally be like, well, I'm bored. Let me go play my warrior. Oh, I got to change my transmog. And my options went from this vast wardrobe library to, please pick between 7 belts. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did this happen?
And there are no good belts. None of the weapons are glowy yet. Like, it's a pain in the ass.
They all make me look pregnant for some reason. It's like, why is this a belt?
Yeah.
option?
So now, in fact, what I'll do in those dungeons is, if I'd have something drop from, you know, I was playing a prot pally. I was actually tanking these, and I'm getting good at that. At least with these robots, I'm getting good at it. It still scares me to do it with real people. But anyway, whatever. I'm in there doing that, and some shoes drop for a mage. And I have a mage alt. And in the old days, I was just like, well, I got to go pass it through mail or something, or, you know, deal with this. But instead, I'm like, I'll just try them on in here. And the thing says, hey, these aren't for your class, but you can go ahead and put them on, and then now you'll learn the look. And I do. And then I put on my other shoes back on. Off I go. It's in my category. It's in my catalog now of stuff I can change into. I really like where they've come with that stuff. The other thing I really like about the game right now, they made it so you can toggle your flying mounts, which now the Skyflight stuff applies to almost every single flying mount in the game. I still haven't run into one that I have that doesn't work. They all work that I have.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Even that dumb little pig I like so much. He's awesome, dude, when he flies like a dragon. It's so great.
All I care about is one. I've used, despite being a heavy mount collector, I've only used really one mount since like Burning Crusade.
What is he?
And that is, it was a flaming hippogriff from the trading card game. Eventually, they did put one in the game during like the Firelands rating that I think like everybody got. This was the one before that.
Okay.
And I don't like big mounts because I like to play with my camera zoomed way in. So as soon as I get on a dragon, there's just dragon ass in my face.
Same.
And I hate it because I don't want to constantly be scrolling in and out. That's just too much for me.
Yeah.
So I like small mounts. And so Hippogriff was perfect. It was unique enough because, I wasted a bunch of money on trading cards. And so it qualified across the board. I would imagine that they probably had to have done hippogriffs, and so it's probably good to go.
Yeah, those are good, I'm sure. The Diablo 4 one you got for getting Diablo 4 pre-ordered, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically a 3-headed Satan dog, and then a big,
yeah,
big glowy body with like fire embers coming out of the back, and it kind of pulsates. And I don't remember if he even flew before. I think he did, but it was just hover flying. That one's been converted. He is a complete badass. Looks so cool. He's one of my favorite mounts in the game, and it's freaking a promo mount. Anyway, all these things work really well, and they work with the system. But let's say you're just out. I'm trying to hover around and look for quest stuff on the ground, and I don't feel like running around on the ground. But if I get into the air with Skyflight on, I'm going to have to soar everywhere, and I'm going to get disoriented. And so what they did is they made a toggle. It's like a quick little cast thing where you raise your hands and little wind circles go around your hands, and you convert your mount or all your mounts at that moment into standard WoW hover mounts. And then you can do that for a while, and you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to fly back to that spire, get back down on the ground, hit the toggle, fly like an eagle, like do it like the real way. It's really great. It's a really nice little quality of life improvement. I like that a lot. If I had one complaint so far, this event they're doing right now is kind of stupid because they make you wait about 90 minutes between boss spawns for this currency that you need that you would want to go spend. And then you can kill a bunch of other, they're called something memories. What are they called? I didn't bring all those notes here, but whatever they are, they're basically little glowy. The video I showed Arthas. I'll show it again here.
Yeah, I did see it. I didn't know what that was.
So you're fighting these something memories. Someone in the chat's going to remind me. And they're like, nobody knows why we're having these memories or why they're popping up or whatever. But it's like, here's a crab, here's a goat, here's a horse. But then there's some that are elites and whatever. You can farm those. Yeah.
Sorry, just relevant to what we're talking about. Chat says they just changed the event a couple hours ago.
Oh, what'd they do? I wonder.
Do we know what the new spawn time is for? 90 minutes is absolutely insane. That definitely reeks of fun detected. Like,
yeah,
fun detected, fun prevented. Like,
it's really, really annoying. Oh, so the
they
currency
changed it to 1 hour, and the currency is increased.
All right, that'll make a difference because I don't mind grinding all the other little guys out there. Like there's a Nixia. I fought her and that was fun, but she was only popping every 90 minutes. It was a pain in the ass to try to schedule around it. Arthas, same thing. Had to wait forever to get Arthas to pop. There he is. And they're fun fights, and everybody goes crazy, and they drop awesome loot, and they drop a ton of this currency. But then to get any more currency, you can grind the other memories that are floating around the place, but they only drop like 1, and for elites 5. And it was like, are you kidding? I'm never going to afford that $2,000 mount that you want to sell me with this currency. This is stupid. So I really didn't like it. It sounds like this is a lot better. I'm glad to hear that.
Good. Sounds like you might get back into it and go, this is good stuff now. So,
yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, good on them, because as much as I'm gonna quickly throw the like, oh, Blizzard of old, make it a grind, make it no fun. Like, Blizzard of old wouldn't have changed this. Mm-hmm. Blizzard of old would have been like, you will grind for fatty goat steaks and you'll like it. And so good on them for changing it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's one other thing I really like. When you log in, you get a previously kind of, what do you call it on a TV show? Recap. So if you're not caught up, you've been out of the game for a long time, you don't know what has happened, this whole expansion, it gives you this really great summary, very visual. It's like it's a movie, and it has a narrator. And at first it sounded like Chris, but I confirmed it isn't. Somebody else. Sounds like
just immediately this you text.
But it's like you go into this thing and it's like catches you up on everything. And then there's also cutscenes where Thrall and Jaina want you to meet out by the sword and talk about stuff. Anduin's there also, and it's their in-game personas, like their actual models. So you're doing all that stuff. I liked all that. You get to talk to Shit Wizard Khadgar a couple of times. I love him. I think I talked about that last week, so some of that I'd already seen a week ago. But yeah, I like what they're doing. I'm more excited about this expansion than I have been about any of them for a long time. And based on the momentum, I think, of Dragonflight and Metzen's return and all these things just speak potential for retail WoW moving forward. And I'm stoked about it. All right, so that's that. This is not the instance. This is core. Let's move on to Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. All right, you know Shatterproof is just like the nicest guy ever and keeps giving us games.
Yes, like 2 more games, Shatterproof.
Yeah, that guy is a wild man.
Hey, if it's the choice between this or loot boxes, I always want to say thank you, Shatterproof.
I agree, dude.
Yeah.
I like his method way better than loot boxes. But anyway, he sent me a copy of something called Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. What a wonderful, weird-ass, strange little effing game. The closest comparison I can give it is like GTA meets quirky, adorable character writing. I don't know what else to call it. You're this little guy. Your name is Terry. You're the little blue guy on screen there. You have conversations with all the locals. You have, things you're supposed to do. You have a job you're supposed to do, a car to improve and add more turbo to. There's this whole open world aspect to it. So when you go out there driving around in your car, I'll get to some of that here. Here we go. You're doing jobs. Someone will say, well, we need you to go talk to so-and-so. Okay, go do that. But also in the world are a ton of things you're supposed to break apart, dig out of the ground, secrets, puzzles, little bonuses here and there. I had no expectation for this. I'd never even heard of it, really. There's even, this room you just walked into is kind of a Pokemon mini game thing that they threw into the game as well, where you collect a bunch of these gummy bears, but they're like they're called gummy. Oh, shit, I forgot. Maybe he'll say it on the screen. Anyway, just a fun time, man. I'm having so much fun playing this game. It's not just because someone gave it to me. It is also receiving overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Because, I only play those games.
Yeah, you can't play something that's not.
Sorry, what's the name of the game again?
positive.
I didn't do it WoW because, it's WoW, but we need to remind the listeners what the name of the game is again.
Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. And it's wonderful. And I feel like if you are a weed user, you might even enjoy it more. It's that. It's a very weird
Nintendo Weed user.
It's a very weird game. Nintendo Weed. I like that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I'm not super far, but I'm far enough to know I'm having a great time. And I don't know. I'm a big fan of the formula of GTA, but I get tired of the motif a little bit. And this one is just a silly romp with very adorable characters and strange voices. Oh, John, you'd love it because they talk like this. Hold on. They got this.
I love it.
That's a girl. Now we'll listen to Terry talk.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
He's like a descendant of Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. It's very much like that.
Love
And,
it.
everybody-
I love dialogue like that. It is so often
Yeah.
simply the better way to go.
It really is the best. And it opens up all kinds of mini games. You discover things like I found a shovel and that opened up a bunch of options. I found a pipe and that opened up options. I've had a boss fight already. It was weird as hell. It is a strange game, but I think it's awesome and worth people picking up. I didn't get the price. I think it's like 17 or
I'm
something.
seeing $23.49 Canadian.
That sounds right. Yeah, maybe $19.99 US.
Yeah, $20 US.
Something like that. It's great. Traversal's great. Feels good. It's weird. It's kind of this combination of almost like GameCube and PS1 aesthetic, but also you can tell it's it's not old. It feels new enough. And everything's goofy as shit, and I love it. So check it out. It's called here we go again, Beau. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. Not to be confused with Two Button Terry's Turbo Trip. That's a very different game.
Yeah, you have to download Heroes of the Storm to get that game.
Exactly. And now I may or may not have received an early full version of Shapez 2 with a Z.
Well, it would be really weird of you to mention it if the answer to that was you had not. Because let me tell you, I can fill out my list if I'm going to talk about things I didn't play as well.
Yeah, that's a big list. So I will tell people that I apparently the people over there liked me, and I used to say some very nice things about them here on the show and on social media.
Used to.
Well, I still do. I love their game. Shapez was one of my favorite games that I discovered. I guess I just discovered it last year. It's older than that, but I loved that game so much. And 2, when the demo came out, it's exactly what I wanted. The move to 3D, all that stuff is great. This is the final release candidate for their early access drop that they're doing on the 15th. So this game comes out on the 15th, and it will be feature full. They're basically just at the point of balancing and making sure things are okay. I suspect this will be a short time in early access mode. Already completely addicting, stupid fun. Can't get enough of it.
This game that you might have played.
This game that I might have gotten and played.
I think you're fine. Clearly, they don't listen to the show because they didn't know there were 2 other people on it.
They're unaware of the 4 or the 3 other people.
So I think you're fine. I don't think they know.
The good news is I have, well, I don't know if it's good news, but I put in a request for more keys. We'll see what they do. Because I would love for you guys to discover this. I mean, it's got everything about an automation game that I love, plus...
I mean, I can't say I'm a Shapez fan, but I'm a big Dyson Sphere project fan, and this just looks like the conveyor belt part of Dyson Sphere, so my brain is tickled. I'd play this for sure.
It's all the stuff I love about Dyson. It's what I like about Dyson Sphere the most. The thing I like about this, and I do this in Dyson because I set the option that way, I like just unlimited resources. Your shapes have no end. And I like that because you can experiment and get weird and change your mind and delete a bunch of stuff.
I think limited resources is like, it's challenge mode stuff. Like after you're really familiar with the game and you want to challenge yourself, it's so annoying when nodes run out of resources in a game because you play very casually. It's like I might go make dinner and leave the thing running as like a pretty screensaver. I don't want to run out of resources doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of those games that just tickles my brain in a way that nothing else does and makes me want to just play all night. No controller support, chat's asking, Sean Nagel, that I know of. I tried it. It wasn't there, but it may come. Man, I like it. I like that game a lot. So anyway, 15th is coming out. Watch for it. Can't wait to play more.
All right. Well, I think we speak for all of us when we say we're big supporters of this game. So bring it.
Bring it on.
Shapez with a Z.
Shapez with a Z. Shapez 2. 2 with a Z.
Yeah, it's a Z and a 2. Those are 2 different letters.
John continues to take his wild journey into
what
is the Path of Exile world called? I don't know. What's the realm?
It's called Path of Exile.
No, it's called like excrement or something like that.
I doubt it's excrement, but I like it.
No, it's like Wildemount. No,
Exile.
Beluga.
Name. I mean,
it's got a name. Rayclast. That's it.
Rayclast.
It's Rayclast.
That's bullshit. But anyway,
you knew it the whole time, John, and you let me flounder.
Well, yeah, because they're like, for one, I couldn't think of it. For 2, I knew it once I heard it. I was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. I knew it was spelled weird. That was what I knew.
You knew that part for sure. Yeah.
I knew it's definitely spelled weird. I've been playing Path of Exile. That's probably the game that has gotten the most attention from me this week. I got absolutely hooked on it. I'm on Act 4.
Whoa.
I am still doing my own build, although I did download an item filter. Because let me tell you, I probably would be on Act 5 or 6 if I had.
Yeah, you can't pick everything up in that game.
Started with an item filter on, because let me tell you,
you can't pick up everything.
There's a lot of they don't give you a lot of portals home for a game that seems to make me want to go back home every 10 seconds in this game. And then I very quickly realized, you know what, I need to just not pick everything up.
Yeah.
I think is probably the solution to this problem. And I stopped picking everything up with an item filter, and I've been a lot happier ever since.
Yeah.
So that I did do in terms of like outside involvement. I have been tempted to do a build, but I think I still stand by my decision to not do a build, even though literally everybody I've talked to about the game has said do a build, you will enjoy it more. I think for me, at least, the decision to not do a build was the right one, and I'll say why. Because I'm the kind of person that, yes, if I was doing a build, I would probably ultimately be having an easier, better experience. But if I did that, I would be spending the entire time thinking, well, if I had done this myself, I would have made a better build than this.
Yeah, I do the
like
same
it wouldn't
thing.
be accurate, it wouldn't be true,
It's
but it
not
would
even
always
true.
be in the back
Yeah.
of my head that I should have just done my own build.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be satisfied and I wouldn't be happy with it. So I've been doing my own thing, and it's been fine. I've died maybe 3 or 4 times total playing the game, and usually it's just a case of like I got caught absolutely off guard by sudden bursts of elemental damage I wasn't ready for. The same things that kill you in like Diablo and Diablo 2, just like all of a sudden mass elemental damage hits you were just not ready for. And like there's definitely, I'm seeing the benefits the further I go of having a build, because I'm like, ooh, this is a complicated decision they're asking me to commit to right now. And I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm sticking with it, and I'm killing things fast and I'm surviving things. Like, I'm just sort of breezing through it with what I'm doing. So I haven't gotten too far off the beaten path, apparently, because it's fine. But yeah, I mean, again, I still don't know how far this journey is going to go. Sometimes when I think about what endgame might be when I've looked into it, it seems a little like daunting and overwhelming. But so did the talent tree when I first saw pictures of it, or it just popped up. That seemed overwhelming. Now I think it's fun. I really like messing around with it. I really like using filters to be like, hey, like my build seems to be doing a lot of bleed stuff. Like, let me type bleed in here and see what ties to it. And is there a cool path I can take to get it? Or, man, I really got used to having this piece of armor that gave me plus 26 intellect. But if I take it off, all of a sudden, some of my stuff doesn't work anymore. What's the best way for me to make up for that 26 intellect somewhere else so I can keep my gear and keep going? And so that sort of stuff has been fun to mess with. And overall, like, it has felt like Diablo to me. Like, this is everything I love about these types of games. It's just been so much fun to get in, and it's fun in a different way. Like, Diablo definitely had its point where there was a lot of like, oh, that weapon looks so cool. Oh, that piece of armor looks so cool. I don't care about that as much in this game. Like, the armor so far has not been, like, you can tell they sell cosmetics.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's pretty apparent. My character, I actually took a screenshot at one point. Maybe I'll see if I can share it with you. Because I was just like, my character looks like Peacemaker. And I don't think that's a compliment to how your character should look in a video game.
Yeah.
So it's fine though. But like, in terms of like systems and fighting and, oh, a cool piece of gear that changes up what I'm doing, or, oh, I can't wait to take this talent because I'm going to do something really cool when that finally happens. All that sort of stuff is still like firing on all cylinders for me, and absolutely scratching that Diablo itch that I've been kind of hungry for a while, and it's nice to have it. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm trying to see if I can find my Peacemaker guy here.
While you're
This
looking
might
for
be-
that, I want to see
this,
him.
I think this is it.
Did you get him? Okay, let's take a look here.
Okay, yeah. Just grabbed a quick picture because I was just like, I look like Peacemaker with swords.
Oh, you really do.
Totally
That's,
do.
It's just
I thought you were
kinda
exaggerating,
ridiculous.
but like you actually look like
Yeah, you
kind
look
of a
like
knob.
Peacemaker. He's a bit of a knob. Yeah.
like,
Here, I like it though. Here's I owe somebody an apology, and then they owe me one. So somebody listening last week said, how glad they were that we finally were taking the game seriously, that we scoffed at it a lot, call it a spike game, but now we were really talking about it. But then he accused me of well, let me get through this before I get in more trouble. But he then said, except Scott purposely, or some words like that, intentionally misled everybody by showing a version of the talent tree that was just an overlay of all the talent trees over time to make it look like a big webby mess. I didn't know that that's what that was. And I think you could easily forgive somebody for thinking that, a big webby mess
We're not keeping up with the game, so we have no idea.
Yeah, so I didn't intentionally try to lead anyone anywhere. That's never my intent on the show. So apologies for showing the wrong version of the talent tree, but also don't accuse people of doing things.
But John, you played it. It still is a crazy tree, though.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I called it last week the first jump scare of the game. You pull it up, you go, Jesus, what am I doing?
Jesus.
It's nuts. But you very quickly, you see a crazy tree, and there's only so many directions you can go off of the tree, and you go, well, I got 1 point. I can go in any of these directions, and am I a magic user? No. Okay, well, I'm probably not going to go up towards the magic tree. So you make one decision, and then you just start building off of it. And I think it's pretty much fine. But I do think it's worth mentioning, and the person you're talking to is in the chat right now. But if one person thinks it, other people probably think it and haven't said it. So I do think it's worth mentioning, when we call it a spike game, one, it's a reference to a Curb Your Enthusiasm bit, mostly, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that calling it a spike game is more of an indictment of the player base's inability to talk about the game without saying Diablo bad at the same time. And sometimes even the developers saying Diablo bad at the same time.
That happened at the last conference where they were shitting on Diablo.
And that's what I mean. It's an indictment of them, not the game. So I have seen people be like, oh, you wrote it off as a spike game. We weren't writing the game off as a spike game. We were interest was where it's going to be.
Yeah.
The joke is that people are sometimes, and I'm trying not to do it because my temptation, honestly, and this is where I get it, is to come on here and go, here's all the things it's doing right that I wish Diablo was doing, right? I get where that tends to come from. And I think you can talk about this game glowingly without having to necessarily put the other game down.
Right.
But
yes.
That said, I would suggest that if anyone is out there hungry for this type of game and you feel like you're not finding it in the multitude of video games that have fallen in this genre, maybe try this game. Because it is definitely scratching an itch that I was not getting scratched by any of the other games that I have been playing.
Including Diablo 4 itself, including an actual Diablo game. Is you're having more fun here than you were in D4, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The game's also available on consoles, by the way. It works pretty well with controllers and stuff, just as a FYI. It's not a...
Yeah, I've heard good things about the controller support. I haven't tried it, but I've heard it's good. And that would be my preferred way to play. I like controllers with these, and I would definitely try it.
Navigating the menus, bit of a nightmare, but the actual
there's some stuff that feels dated, and some of it could be stuff that I just don't know, but is in there. There's definitely times where I will right click something and assume that that's going to move the item somewhere, and the item just sits there, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't do anything. So there are some dated elements to it, or things that don't intuitively work the way that my brain expects it to. I'm really excited for Path of Exile 2 now. The ability to maybe get in on the ground floor on this instead of systems deep on something is really appealing to me, because I constantly this week was like, oh, I should play some Final Fantasy. I should play one of the games that somebody gifted me, or Path of Exile's right there. I could run through a dungeon real quick. It's calling to me in that same way that Diablo did. And I have lost, not in a civilization oh God, it's 4 a.m., but I have lost hours to Path of Exile now. And I'm like, ooh.
Definitely not on my bingo card this year that you would end up doing this,
No,
I would have
me
never. I
neither.
never would have
But
guessed this.
I'm not ever opposed to it. Like, I don't care if you think it's the game that I've trashed the most, which is what, probably Overwatch 2?
Probably.
If Overwatch 2 did something dramatic, and it would have to be a lot more dramatic than bringing back 6v6.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not opposed to trying.
I mean, not only do you
again.
trash
Like,
Overwatch, people would trash Overwatch for you when conversations come up about it. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
in
that's true.
Discord,
That's true.
they're like, John would say this. Like,
This is what John would have to say about Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be completely honest about another thing I'm being a little hypocritical about. I'm getting a little tempted about Marvel Heroes or whatever it's called.
Wait a
Marvel
minute.
Rivals?
Wait,
Marvel Rivals.
what-
Heroes
what-
was the old game.
Ri-
I didn't say I played it. I just said I'm getting tempted. I
The
saw
Donkey's
somebody.
hate video made you want to play it. You know,
I
'cause hate
saw somebody playing Spider-Man, and I thought, what are they going to do? You're just going to run around going pew, 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 shooting webs at everybody because they got to make it a shooter somehow. And Spider-Man was running around like Spider-Man. And I went, well, I'd like Spider-Man.
He was swinging. Yeah.
Now, that said, I still 100% think that my prediction that if I play that game and I go into a match and someone takes Spider-Man and I can't play him, I'm quitting the game. Toxic. I don't care. They're like, if you keep quitting matches, you're going to have it. You won't be able to play for an hour. Fine. I'll see you in a goddamn hour. I'm playing Spider-Man or I'm not playing the game at all.
I'll go kill Arthas and then I'll come back in an
we
hour.
don't know how their quick match works. It might work like Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
where you
I
can-
don't know. And they have the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume as either the default or the skin in there. It's in there. Spider-Ben, the costume is in there. Something that Marvel's Spider-Man hasn't managed to achieve in 2 games and DLC. The best costume that Spider-Man ever had. They still haven't put in either of those games, supposedly celebrating the character. And it's here in this free-to-play bullshit. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's doing something right. Got the costume right. That's
I mean,
for sure.
the costumes look great. I think the art style looks great. There's a lot to like about my first impressions of this thing, but Donkey's video aside, if you just look
Donkey's
at
video was
it was really funny. It made me laugh my head off. But there are. I mean, this Iron Man is basically Farah. Like Hulk is Winston. Spider-Man's kind of his own thing, which is interesting, right? That's the one that I don't feel like we have a good comparison for.
I think it's more than just Spider-Man. It was funny he didn't talk about Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange apparently has a portal you can shoot projectiles through, which
Ooh, that's cool.
I don't think that's not an Overwatch thing. So
You can ride Groot as Rocket. That's kind of
Shit.
cool.
Are we gonna play
Like,
this
right?
game? We're gonna play this, aren't we?
I think it's
I
big
don't
enough.
know.
It's gonna be worth.
We got to at least
I
check
really-
it out, right? It's gonna be free, so why wouldn't
I
we?
think I think it's probably definitely going to be a check it out kind of situation. I remain very skeptical,
Yeah.
but that there's been plenty of times I've been skeptical about
very
games
skeptical. Skeptability. Yeah.
and played them and then loved them. So you can't judge books by their cover.
I'm skeptical too. Like, I talked a lot of trash. That's why I'm mentioning this as me being a bit of a hypocrite. But like, I think changing your mind is overrated on the internet these days. Like, people treat it like it's a black mark. Like, somebody changed their mind on the internet. I refuse. Like,
No, I say celebrate
I
it.
will go if Overwatch 2 does something to get me to play Overwatch 2, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's not a loss for me. That's a gain for at least
Mankind.
me, but probably more than that, because there's got to be someone else that agrees.
This game
with
could
it.
have the Storm Gate effect,
Yeah.
which is you play the game and then it sends you back to the original game. I played so much StarCraft 2 after playing Stormgate.
Oh, I wonder about that. Yeah, like this happens to me all the time
People
too.
might play Rivals and be like, "Man, let's play Overwatch." Like
Yeah.
the one thing Blizzard always has, their games are tight. Like they're there's polish on it, and this is a NetEase game. I don't know if you're going to play this and have it be just super imbalanced, and you want to I want to go back to that balanced game or whatever, or just the thing that feels better.
We promise we'll
So-
talk about it here if John does that. We swear. We will. If John's suddenly playing
I don't think
Overwatch in a
there's
couple
any
of months.
danger of John going to play Overwatch. I was meaning more the average person.
Yeah.
I think John's too far in on the anti-Overwatch train to.
Oh man, though, can
to
you
feel
imagine?
like
That'd be like our top news story if I played Overwatch 2. For
Oh
some
no,
reason.
that's all we talk
Mm.
about today. That'd be it.
It'd be a
Overwatch
whole
has
show
got some
about
great characters. You know,
it. Does. I wish they'd do something else with them. Maybe Blizzard
I'm
could
just
bring back the RTS genre by putting the Overwatch characters in a game that doesn't involve pushing a payload.
Well, I
Yeah,
got
no,
good
I
news.
know.
I got
We're
good
all
news for
sore
you.
about Overwatch 2. It's true.
Yeah, no, none of us are happy about the state of things, but I got good news for you. There is a payload in this Marvel Rivals game that you're going to
I know.
love.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't
It's-
want to play it. That's why I was
the
like,
game
I'm
is
not going to
Overwatch.
play this game. But it is finding sneaky other bones that I like to tickle. I
It's
don't know what that
NetEase
means.
Overwatch.
It's bringing me back into the game
Or-
and be like, maybe.
It's
And it's
Overwatch
free.
0.
That's the other thing is like, you know, as much as I hate free to play being a label on a lot of games, this is a very specific thing where free to play works for me because I'm like, in general, I'm like, no, I'm writing off this genre. Like, it's been burned completely.
Overwatch genre.
But this is one of those things where it's like, well, it's kind of interesting to me. There's something that's enough to get my foot in the door, and then you go, well, but it's not going to cost any money to try and find out if it's worth it or not. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to play it. I just don't know.
We'll have to figure out where this fits in the Overwatch thing. Like if it's cherry Overwatch or lemon Overwatch.
Yeah.
What flavor?
Yeah, you need to play it to tell us. I'll probably play it too, maybe.
Maybe we should do it on stream. It'd be a thing we do
Everybody
on stream.
walks it back a little bit like it's a dare. It's a dare.
It's not that it's a dare. It's
What
that
if
there's
we
100
kissed
games
just
to
a
play.
little bit? No, I'm kidding. What are we? We're not gonna kiss.
I'm
unless you
hedging-
want to kiss. Then
Yeah.
maybe
I'm
we can
hedging,
kiss just a
John,
little
because-
bit.
I'm hedging, John, because there's so many games to play, and
There
if I make
is.
promises,
Yeah.
and I'd rather just play whatever.
Yeah.
I was very hesitant to tell people I'm going to play The War Within, just because I've been even transparent about, like, as soon as Space Marine 2 launches, like, you think I'm raiding in World of Warcraft?
No.
Like, I'm out. Like, you know, I'm going to be playing World of Warcraft when it comes out,
Yeah.
but maybe something else pulls my attention, and this Rivals. I mean, I've played lots of Overwatch. I feel like if I really wanted to play Overwatch, I'd be playing Overwatch. So this is like cherry Overwatch or diet Overwatch, if you will. It's not just Concord. Like,
I like cherry.
all these variations of Overwatch are hidden in the next period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to ask, well, if you're not already interested in Overwatch, why would I play? What is it about these ones? You've laid it out there. Crofton said the same thing. He's like, I don't really want to play this game except I saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I'm ever gonna get to play Spider-Man. I'm just always gonna have a lever
I
penalty.
think that's
on this
like
game.
going to be half the player base is going to be Spider-Man.
It's a little like DPS versus tanks and healers in an MMO. Nobody, you know, it's a population problem. Spider-Man
what
is
I mean.
going to be very big. And do you think this game's going to let you have multiple Spider-Mans? I don't think so.
You can put Miles Morales in as a hero. Venom's
Well-
there, so Venom is kind of my fallback
Yeah,
guy now.
Yeah.
But
But the problem still is it's not a. These games are like team games. You need tanks and supports, right? So, I mean, Blizzard
Not
has
if
that
they go
esports-
full Spider-Verse, and then it just becomes 6v6 Spider people.
Well,
It's nothing
I
but
think-
it's nothing but Spider people
I
all
think
the time. It's
the
perfectly
genre-
balanced in how unbalanced it is.
Yeah.
the genre just becomes deathmatch at that point, and that's not what like team shooters
I
are.
love
so,
deathmatch.
so sure,
Deathmatch
like
game.
I'm not anti deathmatch. Overwatch has deathmatch mode, but like the esports cornerstone, the competitive cornerstone is that it's a team based cooperative.
Yeah,
each,
because it adds
thing.
strategy and
So
yeah,
this game is like
tactics.
advertises that push the payload, work together with your team, but obviously you're going to need to, if you're playing the game properly, you're going to need to have good team comps.
Yeah.
And if the game becomes LOL team comps, and not it doesn't have an actual player base that cares about playing well, it's just going to be a Marvel cash grab and see you later.
Yeah.
Like you'll log in and play Spider-Man for a few weeks and then you're out.
Yeah.
But what keeps those games steaming along, in spite of them mistreating it poorly, is competitive. I'm still like a StarCraft 2 head because I'm still watching GSL. Watching the pros gets me stoked to play, which means I'll log in and give the game a shot every now and then. Whereas other RTSs don't have something I'm interested in watching and or an esports scene, so I'm not even thinking about them. Those games, they occupy no brain space.
Yeah.
So
I
if
will-
Rivals might launch, it's going to be sensational, fun, super wicked. As esports goes, it'll be a cash grab failure because everyone wants to play LOL Spider-Man and not actual good team comps. So I that's what I mean. Like the the future of any of these games, I'm like, Blizzard still sort of holds that where it's at least they have some skin in the game when it comes to esports, even if they've treated it and been really bad about it. I think there still is a league. So I mean,
yeah,
it's like you can 100 developers can make a game like this. No one's going to care about it in 2 years if there's no scene. So I don't know. It's just
have to wait and see. I like, you know what I like though? I'll give this game some credit. The video I've seen from the open alpha we're looking at right now, all this like destructible environment stuff's kind of rad, man. Look at that.
Yeah, and Iron Man's over here flying all the time.
Yeah.
Not just when he wants to rain justice from above. Like he's flying all the time.
We have a new. I just don't know how we went from. I know how we did Spider-Man, but John has become an advocate for this game in a very quick fashion.
I'm not advocating for the game.
Yeah,
I haven't played it. I haven't tried
His new name is John Marvel Rivals Jagger. Hear that, everybody?
I just like Spider-Man.
Overwatch bad, Marvel Rivals
good. If Spider-Man was on more vegetables, I'd be thin. Like, it's just I get compelled by Spider-Man. The existence of Spider-Man is appealing to me.
When is this out? Like, do we have a release for this, or are they still in internal beta?
I checked on Steam.
I don't know. I
says
didn't know
TBD,
we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
It says TBD on Steam, so I think.
I just got the weirdest email from a text from my sister. I want to share it real quick. This is so weird because I don't remember doing this. Can I share this real quick as a transition?
Does it say John might have unexpressed feelings for Spider-Man? Please have him call me.
I said, he really needs help, and she's going to come see you when she's in Arizona next. No, here's what she says. She says, this is out of nowhere, just now. She says, have I ever thanked you for teaching me how to juggle? The number of times I have wowed a crowd or impressed a child or thrown something off with that skill, or thrown someone off with that skill, I can't even begin to count. I don't remember teaching her how to juggle. I can juggle.
Yeah, I was going to say, you juggle, bro?
I can juggle.
Yeah, I was like, the shock for this was that you juggled.
I can juggle. I definitely can, but I don't remember teaching her that.
Clip that out of context.
Juggle 3 balls.
That Scott
can you do more than? Can you do more than 3 balls?
No, 3 balls is my max.
Yeah,
it's enough though. Too. It's enough for kids. For kids, right? Yeah. They can deal with it, and I can balance.
I did it because I was so bored in science class that I was throwing batteries around and trying to learn, and I made the teacher really mad.
I'll bet you did, throwing batteries around. Here, for a long time, I can't do this anymore. I used to be able to do a broom on my chin and 3 juggled balls and keep that going for a good 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
That's pretty good.
Can you do the spin, throw one high up and spin?
You could get into clown college with a resume like that.
Yeah, but then I'll end up like Steve-O and have all my teeth taken out, and I don't know if I want that.
Steve-O catching straight. I like how the teeth is the worst part. Isn't his voice the worst part?
Well, he told me. So
you're like,
he told me.
I'm like, sometimes people have to get false teeth, and it's cool.
He didn't tell me anything. I don't know why I said he told me.
And I was like, whoa, I want to avoid that.
He claims that's from all the ketamine he used to do. So don't do ketamine, kids. Huffing it. But the teeth thing, I saw an interview where he said his greatest regret was not taking good care of his teeth because they eventually all corroded and fell out, and he had to get implants and veneers. And he was saying it was the worst thing. It was the worst thing. He hated it. It always hurt.
I have veneers. Like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, nobody wants.
Awful.
Do they put bolts in your gums? You have a bolt in your gum?
Well, that's implants.
I don't know. They don't do that. They file your teeth down though and put caps over the top of them.
Yeah, basically it's like a set of crowns across all your teeth, essentially.
I think veneers look great. I kind of want veneers, but my teeth aren't that bad.
Mine look like shit, so maybe I do.
Yeah, all these fake.
Yeah. Oh, and it is all very expensive. So my son-in-law's dad got all implants because his teeth, he'd chewed too much tobacco and they just ruined his teeth. And they did it. It cost him $48,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, not cheap. Not cheap.
Yeah.
Teeth stuff's not cheap. We're dealing with that now.
I would like that $48,000 for other things. All right. Well, there you go, John. We've talked about that. Let's talk about Final Fantasy.
Speaking of Path of Exile.
What's the...
you like Path of Exile. You're enjoying
it.
You're enjoying it.
Long story short, I really like Path of Exile.
And you're an Act Force, which means you've played up to probably like the 2013 content so far. So
I feel like I'm at content that people get to in 2 minutes when they know what they're doing, and it has taken me like hours and hours and multiple days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like that.
But enjoying the game. You're not playing. You don't have ARPG syndrome yet. Where you're
it's a little like that WoW remix thing they're doing with Pandaria. I hopped in there and found out from somebody. Oh, Tanner said you can level to 70 in 2 hours. using that, and it will be a character you can carry forward for the rest of your life. And I'm in there like 4 hours later going, well, I'm about to hit level 16.
Yeah, you're not on the speed run path.
I don't think I'm doing this right. It kind of put me off of it.
You've done something wrong.
It put me off of it. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Fine.
I know you're not supposed to pay attention to speed running of any kind because it'll make you feel bad about how you're doing. I shouldn't have paid attention to that because now I'm just kind of, I don't want to. And plus, there's only like 12 or no, like 18 days left to that thing. I'm not going to have time anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Path of Exile, Final Fantasy XIV. I'll mention real quick. Mostly, I've been doing my usual stuff in there. I will mention that they did the Race to World first because the Savage difficulty content just launched this past week, and that was kind of fun. It was kind of a big deal because Echo was participating for the first time, kind of notorious coming over from WoW to do Final Fantasy rating. The part that wasn't great is if you look at the list of teams that completed, I think it's 3 out of the top 5 were not streaming it.
Oh, what's the point of that?
Here's my hot take for the day. Because I'm going to say this, and I know that it should be up to the team. I understand that there are going to be people that are like, hey, if they want to stream it, that's up to them. Respect their decisions, all of that. I think that this could be a really fun event. And I think it's a really big bummer to be watching people put on an event, and then you just get told that somebody else did it, and you can't see it. I think that's a bummer. I think it sucks. And I think if you can put in the effort to be a part of the Race to World first, you can put in the effort for one person to turn on a stream somewhere on Twitch. Doesn't have to be a full production with commentary like what Echo was doing. I just sort of feel like it's something that I'm not saying like you have to do it, but it's a bummer that like 3 out of the top 5, there's no, you don't get to celebrate. You just get to hear about how the team you're watching didn't make it.
Are there VODs?
I would go harder and say that the results should be verifiable so that you should be disqualified.
So there is an
Good point.
element of that. So one thing is this is much more fan. I mean, Blizzard's pretty hands off too, but it is a fan run thing. They do check something, which is, so for a while it wasn't quite clear who won. And it wasn't until later in the day where they're like, we checked the times because I guess the first and second place teams had almost exactly the same clear time. And they had to go back to see when was this logged as completed for one team versus the other. So there was some verifiable form of data that was checked to determine who was there. But yeah, I mean, it's just more fun if it's streamed. So I had a great time watching it. Like, I don't remember what the full amount of time was. I mean, it was hours, but the WoW one goes on for days. Like it's a days long event.
Yeah.
And this is hours, and it's a lot more self-contained as a result. And you can just sort of sit down and go like, I'm watching this today, which is exactly what I did. And it was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. Probably a little difficult to parse if you haven't played Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has a very visual raid language that once you understand it makes a lot of sense. Before you understand it can look very chaotic and confusing.
Yeah.
But at least on the stream I watched, they did a good job of breaking down what it all meant and all of that. So it's really fun to watch that. I'm gonna look forward to it every time it comes out. This is the first tier of Savage raids. There's going to be 2 more. I can't remember how many they max out for a year. I think it's 3 sets total. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's my one critique. Come on.
Okay, it's a fair critique. So no YouTube VOD, no YouTube VODs or anything like that. They just didn't.
I think they might put something up later.
Okay.
But again, it kind of defeats the moment. Everybody's there cheering on teams, switching between streams of people depending on who's winning, and then all of a sudden somebody just goes, "Hey, we heard a team beat it."
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll maybe next time this rolls around they can do better because I agree that's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right. More of that. How about you got the Visions of Mana demo. I didn't even know that was out. Where is that?
Yeah, I did. I didn't play very much. This is going to be barely a footnote on the Visions of Mana demo. So I played it for about 4 minutes.
Uh-huh.
I'm hesitant to even say 5. Don't click this picture yet. Although zoom it in, get ready for it.
All right.
Because I want to, and we need to talk about this.
All right, go.
Okay. So I installed the Visions of Mana demo. I'm pretty excited about the game. I played for about 4 minutes and then I stopped. I stopped playing for 2 reasons. The first reason I think is a pretty valid reason. I was having performance issues with it.
Oh, totally valid. Sure.
It wasn't running great. And that might be something that gets optimized. That might be something where I just need to tweak my settings. But I don't really feel like getting in deep on messing with graphical settings for a demo. Like, usually when I do the Steam Next Fest games or download a demo, I will play it as it at baseline. Because usually a game plays baseline at lower settings than what you can actually handle anyway.
Yeah.
So you just get in and play and you're like, it worked great. I didn't have to tweak anything. It was fine. And then when the game actually comes out, you can crank those up and go, oh, it looks even better. Great. This game was not performing well on my computer. And I don't know if that's just a me thing. I don't know if other people had it. I didn't know anybody else that played it, so I couldn't ask. But it was not running well. So that was the first thing that turned me off of it. I'm going to say the second thing that turned me off of it is not the most valid reason in the world. And I'm going to say that it's probably a perk for some people. Some of you will hear this and go, well, that sells me on the game.
Uh-oh.
This was a bit of a turnoff for the game.
Okay.
And that is, there's a character in the party, if Scott wants to pull him up, that is just too fancy of a cat for me. He's just...
I wasn't sure where you were going to go here. I thought maybe you'd be like, oh, I've got a new video game crush, everybody. I love this character. And nope, too fancy.
He's just a little too soft of a fancy prince cat. And I just find him distracting. And I didn't really like it. And so I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't like this. This is making me.
These mana games are famous though for having these kind of. They're really obnoxious.
I know, but there's just something about the haircut and the style and the fancy dress.
Yeah.
I just was like,
you just didn't feel very cool because like it doesn't look very cool.
It's not cool at all. There's nothing cool about this cat. I don't like it.
So there will be some people that absolutely love the fancy cat boy. He's there for you. Go and enjoy him. He was distracting, and it was just a no for me.
Today you are me. This is what I would normally not like. So today John and Scott are aligned.
Yep.
On a taste thing.
What's the name?
Yeah, what is his name?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. The
Prince...
camera didn't seem to always be on who was talking when it was saying their name. I was a little distracted. This game...
Trailer's got names. I'm checking.
I kind of wished this game had Banjo-Kazooie voices.
His name's Morley. It doesn't help.
Well, I could use a little Leslie, and then I'd be better with it. There's a little too much of him. I didn't like it.
Radiant Sword Morley.
Really?
So you got hung up on this guy and didn't like it.
I got hung up on it. I couldn't get over it. It was a deal breaker for me, apparently.
You couldn't stick around for Queen of the Deep, Palomina?
I feel like I could have handled the haircut on a different character or the Catboy with a different haircut.
Yeah.
And maybe the clothes are a part of it too, but I feel like at least those 2 elements, maybe 3 together, created something I couldn't deal with.
Yeah, I understand. I'm looking. I don't
This
like
is the Visions of Mana demo. I see you, chat.
Oh, yeah. Visions of Mana demo. Currently available on PSN, Xbox, and I believe Steam, right? I think everybody has it.
Yeah, I downloaded the demo on Steam.
All right.
That's where the performance issues were.
Right. I hope they fix that because the last one they put out, the 3D one that was a remake of, I forgot the name. I really liked that game a lot. It was fun. I hate the characters in it, but I loved the game. The game was fun.
Yeah, and I might end up in the same place. I really like the Mana games. I
Yeah.
didn't give it very much time because it just wasn't playing well. I wasn't
Oh,
going
you
to
can
spend a
change
bunch of time on
classes,
a game.
and that might give them new outfits. So maybe he'll look at least less dainty. if
Yeah, but
not-
the haircut is a big part of the problem. They need new haircuts.
You can put a
Yeah.
He's
helmet
got
on
like
the guy.
the Prince Adam on a Catman body. I just feel like I'm looking at someone's fan art for He-Man gone wrong.
Yeah, and you don't want that. in
Somebody
your life.
was like, "Hey, I like Thundercats and He-Man, and I'm gonna mix them up real nice." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Uh-oh, I stumbled onto DeviantArt."
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on here. All right, well there you go. The demo is what he played. Everybody, the
Yeah,
demo.
I played the demo, and honestly, I've also been just playing a lot of Fortnite. I don't have a ton to say. The season's okay. It's very vehicle focused, which was kind of novel for a little bit and kind of wearing thin now. But that's also just because people pop out of cars and kill me, and I get really mad about it.
Is this the patch that has the Cybertruck in it? Is that a thing, or am I making
Yeah,
that
the
up? Okay.
Cybertruck's in it.
Yeah.
I found out, I did check to see what I needed to do to get the Cybertruck. I'm in no danger of accidentally unlocking the Cybertruck. You have to play on player created content in the game, and I don't ever do that. So I'm at no risk of accidentally getting a Cybertruck.
Interesting.
I'll be safe from that.
It looks.
Although my stepson came in and was like, "I unlocked the Cybertruck! Yeah!" He's so stoked about it.
See, they know their audience, man. When I heard about this, I went, "This is stupid." But you know what? Kids aren't all tuned into like Elon Musk is an idiot crap and all that. They're just playing. They just want this cool truck that looks like a PS1 car. You know?
Yeah,
They don't care.
They did get me for Deadpool and Wolverine money though, because so the skin that's up right now is not the Wolverine skin they added to the game. You actually should maybe try and see if you can find it. It's one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest skins in the game. They went very comic book style. It's not going to be in this video.
So it's
Scott.
not this one.
somebody
This
just
isn't
playing.
this guy.
Well, I don't know what video.
Well, no. I mean, this isn't the skin. You're saying this is not.
No, this is
okay.
not the skin. This is lame old Wolverine skin.
Because it looks like kind of the Wolverine that they sort of made for the new movie a little bit, right?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Wolverine.
I'll get you something. But anyway, like Fortnite continues to be Fortnite, but it's it's my popcorn.
Oh, I found it. You're right. This is way better. It's like comic art with like.
Yes, that's it. There
Yeah,
it is.
okay.
It looks cool, and you can get him with a hat and without a hat.
Yeah. Oh, really? You can run around without the hat? That's cool.
Yeah, he's got blue hair. It's very comic booky. They went full blue hair Wolverine.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is of an era.
All
So
right. Got 2 Wolverines now in this game. Or is there more? Is there more than that?
I think there's more Wolverines. They put a lot of Wolverines in there.
Wow, it's just going to
But,
cut into their
this
rivals.
is the one I spent money on.
What,
was
do you
this
think?
one,
Do you
so-
think Rivals suddenly makes it weird that there's a whole shooter game from Marvel, but they also have Marvel shit in Fortnite? I don't know. That seems a little weird, doesn't it? Maybe?
I don't know. It's fine. He's about to drink a Nuka-Cola. None of it makes sense. It's fine.
Holy shit! You're right. Yeah, none of this makes sense. Fortnite is it the greatest game ever
he's
made?
got Winston Shields.
Oh, it's all coming together. The snake is eating
I
itself.
was much more negative on it on this season because I wrote in the show notes. I'm like, I'm not loving the current season, but I got a crowned victory royale today, right before the show. Not right before, but earlier today.
Yeah.
And that was enough for me to be like, well, if I'm gonna win, maybe this is a good season. So I think maybe my ranking of seasons depends on how well I'm doing.
Sure. I could see that. Well, all right then. Beau, let's take a trip to Japan. I saw you in here. I was in. I hopped into Tiny Terry's whatever, and I said, "Oh, Beau's back to Yakuza Infinite Wealth." What does that mean? No more Elden Ring? Are we done?
So I can explain how I got there, but first, look, I just want you to notice the cat behind me wanting my attention and being adorable and just staring at me. I changed. I can't zoom in on him. I don't think I can zoom on this lens.
Look at him. What's his name again?
Arthur.
Look at him. He's just chilling. He's Canadian. Yeah.
He's
Arthur.
He's like, come on.
He looks like
play
he
with me.
got into
He
your
wants me to play
weed.
Yakuza because I'll play on my chair. Anyways.
Yeah. And he lays with you?
Yeah. So, yeah, Elden Ring, honestly, I'm a little bored of it. I didn't play it at all this week.
Too easy?
It is too easy, really.
Yeah.
And I've already played a ton. But, I kind of got into Zenless Zone Zero last week, and I exhausted all the content except for the end game grind, which pretty much requires you either to log in every day or buy boxes, right?
Yeah.
And I was like kind of participating a little bit in it, but like I said, I haven't spent any money. And I was like, there's a real great game that is exactly literally the gameplay loop of this. There's probably 100 actually, but like there's Yakuza. You got to finish it. You should play Yakuza. You should get back to infinite wealth.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, son. Nothing exciting happening in this trashy online gacha game. Let me actually play a non-gacha game that has gacha in it, but it's a joke. It's you spend in-game currency, you don't actually buy anything with real money. It pokes fun. Instead of cute ladies or cute little monsters, it's perverts. Sujimon, you collect perverts.
That's what you want. Yeah.
And, so anyways, I got back to the game. I have been playing through the campaign, and I'm at the finale. I've done the Honolulu stuff.
You did a lot of work on it.
Yeah. But I mean, when I say a lot of work, I've been playing pretty much nonstop every day in the past week. This game's been my life because I did all the side stuff. I finished the Sujimon. I did Sicko Snap. So there's a mini game where you have to ride a trolley in Hawaii and take pictures of all the perverts.
Oh, snapping the sickos. Okay.
Sicko Snap. Yeah, with a camera. It's a mini game. So
it's like Pokemon Snap, but you take pictures of
the you're trying to get an S rank in Sicko Snap. So I've been doing the Sicko Snap. I did the Sujimon side stuff. I got all my drink links up to level 100, so I'm like bonded with my pals. I did the underground dungeons. And so, now I'm like, okay, and I'm going to progress the story. I beat up Danny Trejo, and he got eaten by a shark.
Actual Danny Trejo's in this game?
Danny Trejo voices one of the bosses, yeah.
Didn't know that.
You fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you can really tell it's him because the voice acting simultaneously takes a dip in quality, but an increase in quality because of Danny Trejo, and it's cool. But also, it's like he talks like Danny Trejo.
I'd hope so.
It's really not normal. You can really tell when it's Danny Trejo voicing something.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the way he reads the lines or something. Like, oh, he's reading a line.
That's great.
It's performed, but it's also kind of just read. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's awesome. And I'm almost finished the game. I just have to do the last bit to find out what happens to Kiryu. Is he going to die? Is he going to face his cancer head on? I don't know. It's they really save that little bit to the end. So, does he beat up the cancer? Maybe he rips it out of his body and pounds it. I really
just
don't
like
know.
A shirt. Just pulls it out.
Does he actually have a machete in his? Oh, no, it's at the side of his head.
That's Danny. He's a bad guy. That's Tomizawa. He's a friend of yours. He's a cab driver.
They really Japanesed him up, right? Like
no, he's not Japanese. He's in Hawaii. He's probably what? He's not Japanese.
Okay,
he just looks like messed up.
He just looks like I don't know. I need to see his face. Let's see. It looks like they kind of tried to do something there. That's fine. I'd eat his tacos any day, I guess is what I'm saying.
all their Caucasians look a little off. Like it's the Japanese game. You know how like I don't know. I got to be careful how I frame this, but like the Japanese people look pretty great, the Asian people look pretty great, and then the white people look like okay.
Yeah.
Like there's some weirdness, but there's a little bit of weirdness to the white people. But I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's nothing terrible. But yeah, he definitely looks a little crazy. So I don't know. They gave him what they do with their bosses. They usually make him really wrinkly and intense. So I think that's just what you're seeing.
Interesting.
Evil people look evil. That's one of the rules of Yakuza. If they're a bad guy, they probably look bad.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Actually, that's not true. Ryu Aoki looks pretty handsome and sweet.
Yeah.
So
all right.
They make their like roughneck bad guys like look like they've lived a rough life. Like I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, you're about to.
So I've been playing that game, and man, do they put a lot of content. Again, I'm not doing the 100% bucket list, but I am. I don't know. I'm contemplating whether to do the new game plus because I kind of want to. I like the 100% the achieves on these things, so we'll see. But probably tonight, I'm going to finish the game.
Nice.
I just have to finish the Yokohama Underground. I have one more bucket list memory to find somewhere, I guess, and then probably I can just hit up the last dungeon, and then we'll see where I go from there. But that's I got back to the game finally. It was released in like February, and I dropped off, and now I'm back.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
One of these days, you're gonna be like, guys, let me tell you about Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom
Nope,
Liberty."
that's so that's part of the plan. You're correct about that. So one of the decisions I made, sorry to the core guild over on SOD, but I said, look, I said this last week actually, I'm not gonna play a bunch of WoW before I play a bunch of WoW. So my goals in the next weeks before the War Within comes out is I'm finishing Infinite Wealth. I'm gonna get this Cyberpunk expansion done. That's on my docket. It's weird playing video games for a living because now I don't want to do it. It's like work. Like I think that's part of what I've been struggling with. Like, you know, we're paid for the privilege of doing this, so I'm like, I gotta go and play games, and it's like, well, I gotta play this game, and I immediately don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You see this with big
Whereas
streamers all the
before,
time. They burn out, and they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
I'm
that
like,
anymore.
as soon as I feel obligated to pay something, or I'm supposed to play this, like, I mean, imagine you having those feelings about World of Warcraft. It's like you do the instance, right? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I just need to play this game, and it's like I don't want to play it this week.
Yeah, there was definitely
Like,
a period like
sue me.
that.
You know, like
Definitely a time like that. Like it's weird, almost like getting away from that was good. A 2-year break was good because then if I was playing, it was purely for me and nobody else, and I'd missed that. You know. Now I guess I'm putting myself through that again, but it's only monthly. See, that's part of the plan. Monthly makes it easier. See. That's the idea.
No, it'll be a good routine. But I mean, I think that was just I was struggling a bit with Cyberpunk and with all these games where it's like they come out, so now I need to play them, but now I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I think Elden Ring's a bit of a different case. I think I gave that a lot of hours, and I'm just kind of burnt out on it. Like, okay, like maybe I'll get back to it at some point. But I'm a big Yakuza fan. That game makes me smile. I'm glad Zenless Zone Zero ran out of content, so I can uninstall it and be done with it. And
do you feel
Yakuza.
like you'll get back to? You mentioned Cyberpunk, but do you think you'll ever get back to Cyberpunk?
No, that's so on my docket currently. Well, I've got momentum and I'm accomplishing video game tasks.
Yeah,
I'm doing it. I'm playing Yakuza.
You are gonna.
And now I'm gonna play Cyberpunk is on the list before WoW, the War Within comes out, and the other one is I think I'd like to try and finish Elden Ring.
Okay.
Because then that kind of clears my slate of video gamely obligations I've created for myself.
Yeah.
Because I need to have I need to feel like I have free running room to be excited to play some WoW.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a shot. I've committed. And I'm going to play Space Marine for sure.
Yeah.
And then Diablo 4 in October. That's also, those are the three like pillars that like I'm definitely playing.
Yeah.
We'll see if I play Outlaws or not. Maybe I will. It looks good. If people come out and they go, "Holy shit, I got a surprise boner," and I'm in my 40s playing it, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna play that," you know, like to feel young again.
I have heard you can play Sabak in that game.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
If you want to know the full reference, become a patron. We talked extensively about John's boners for like an hour. So
yeah, it was a big
It's
Star
not
Wars
wrong.
moment.
It's also not accurate, but you know, you gotta pay to find out.
Yeah, you're not gonna...
We don't work for free, so if you want to find that interesting content and help us out, patreon.com/core show.
Yeah, get in there.
Back to Yakuza. See, native advertising. I nailed it.
Nicely done. Yeah, that was really natural.
What are your preferred jobs of Yakuza Infinite Wealth? What are you enjoying?
My preferred job this go around is hero for Kasuga because that's just it's just who he is. Now you level up the side jobs because you can use those skills in the main job. So I've leveled the Desperado.
Desperado's
I don't love using the gun, but I get that it's like maybe a toy gun, so it's okay.
No, there's something so funny about they like fall over on the ground and then you just point the gun at them and shoot them while they're down.
Yeah. I couldn't
For a
do
game
it.
that's so light on guns, you're just shooting everybody you come across is really funny to me.
I made Kiryu do it, and I'm like, oh, he hates guns. Like, oh no, like I took it off. But there's some good abilities in there where you drink from a whiskey bottle, throw it at somebody, and shoot the whiskey bottle and set people on fire, and that's awesome.
Yeah, or throw dynamite at them and shoot the dynamite to have it go off. I love that. That's a good move.
So like I do like the class. I like the action movie star where you're just basically Bruce Lee and you just go and make his weird noises.
Mm-hmm.
Housekeeper is a great job. So there's a ice-based attack that really clears out rooms. Then
Oh yeah,
it's a pretty strong one. So yeah, I like Housekeeper. That's a great job. And I think some of the animations, I've tried out most of the animations for like the super moves. I think my favorites are the essence of Buckle Up, where, if you're a cabbie, it's only Tomizawa that can be a cab driver, but you're in the cab and he drives crazy and then crashes the cab and jumps out. It's called Essence of Buckle Up.
I think one of my favorites, like it's a basic move, but one of my favorite moves is called, I don't know if it's called Scrubby, but it's Housekeeper. And
oh yeah. You knock them on their ass, and
you
then
knock them down, and you just scrub them down real good with a brush, with a wash.
Cabby has a version of that where you also scrub the enemy too. Yeah,
love it.
There's moves where you clean the enemy, which is great, and they hate it.
And it hurts them so bad, gives them ice damage for some reason.
Yeah. The other good one, I like Essence of High Noon, where you're doing a duel and you turn around and
you have a railgun.
Instead of having like a 6-shooter, you got Zarya's like gravity gun. You just go and like laser them down.
Wow.
Well, I like that they justified that, because like that looks cheating for a duel, right? Because it's supposed to be an honorable duel. High Noon, you take your paces, but the opponents always cheat. They turn around early to get the drop on you, but then you're there with like a freaking rail gun ready to just end them.
And the other thing, because I always use that on all the enemies, because I noticed that they recorded unique voice lines. For example, if you use Essence of High Noon on Danny Trejo, well, there's a reaction where they look at the size of the gun, they go, woo! And they all have their own lines. Like the last boss has their own line. Like they recorded a series of lines for the reaction to the gun in Essence of High Noon from all the voice actors, and I love that.
Wow.
And there's another one I really like. I just can't remember. There's a Housekeeper one where you have a vacuum and you suck their face into the vacuum, spin them around and throw them into the galaxy, which is pretty cool. And I can't think of it. There's one that I thought was so funny, but I can't. There is one that the detective does where it's like essence of not hit and run, essence of like, I can't remember what it was, like just run away fast. And basically what happens when you use the move, the enemy's tied to a chair and there's a ticking time bomb with 10 seconds left. And Adachi runs up to the dynamite and he has to like snip the right wire to stop the bomb from exploding. And there's a red wire and a blue wire. And I'm like, why are you saving the guy you're attacking? And he's like, but he's saving him. He's like, and he clicks the red wire and it makes the countdown go faster. And he goes, oh shit. And he runs away and he leaves the bad guy there to die and it blows up. It's like the biggest troll where it's like he's trying to save him, messes it up unintentionally, and then just leaves him there to die. Which is also a fantastic move. The humor in that game is really good.
Pretty top notch.
So I'll have it finished by next week, and we'll give you a final rating. We'll see how much the game makes me cry. I would say definitely this one has been less emotional. Like, it's still emotional, but less emotional than the last two.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it as well.
But, less good.
And you both have beaten this, right? This game. Well, you will.
Beau's about to.
I'm about to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, no, that's awesome. I guess my bigger question is, if you beat that, then you go play. What'd you say? Cyberpunk, the expansion.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's going to be a weird? Like, is that weird to go from that kind of game to that kind of game? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to feel funny?
I got to get in the zone for Cyberpunk for sure. So I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to.
You need a palate cleansing game.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I use Fortnite for and stuff like that. You need something to just wipe the slate clean and be like, all right, it's mindless,
there might be something
easy
in between there. Yeah.
Business.
Well, the Shatterproof gifted me some stuff, so there might be some stuff in there. I do have Riven, thanks to Shatterproof, so I might jump into that. I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I'm going to finish it tonight, and I might do the new game plus, but try to speed through it, and then figure it out from there.
Nice.
But I did play another game.
Yeah.
This week, besides the old Yakuza, and
that's something with Crofton, right? Is that
you said you had questions about that earlier.
I do.
So,
I do, because I know how he is like in an RPG or something where he's kind of a pain in the ass and wants to do things his way and whatever. Not saying that he can't play video games. Obviously, Crofton's very capable of playing video games, but is he like
debatable?
All right, well, this maybe answers my question then. Like, is he just kind of a goofball in there? Like, what's the shooter looter like with him?
I mean, like he understands video games and can play it. I think he just, he's a father and he doesn't find a lot of time to play the games he wants to play. I think he plays a lot, but it's a lot with his children, which he's a great father and plays with them. But it's all, Luigi's Mansion and.
Did you guys say the name of the game?
No, we didn't.
Yakuza Infinite Well.
No. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands with Crofton.
We're gonna talk. We're just we're doing the ramp up, right? We're not saying it right away, but fair enough.
Sorry, I ruined it.
No, we can do it. However,
you didn't really ruin it. It's a meta game. You're just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, you're just here doing good work, so don't worry about it.
No, we got into it because we play Baldur's Gate on Sundays because we play the game 2 hours at a time, and I don't even know at this rate if I'll finish Baldur's Gate, that game, before dying. But two of our friends, Pepperoni Pete and Mike, they're more.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know Pepperoni Pete. He doesn't like having his real name out there, so we asked my chat room to come up with a name for him, and they said Pepperoni Pete, and he liked it, so we call him Pepperoni Pete.
I love that. Okay. I didn't. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Pepperoni Pete.
Pee and Mike are more they have a variety of interests, which include doing outdoors things and camping and stuff. So as summer hits and we get to Sunday, let's just say attendance has been sketchy and low. And so Crofton and myself find ourselves going as the true video game nerds, like, oh great, we were ready and they're off camping. So let's not waste this. Let's do something. So I talked him. Tiny Tina Wonderlands was on sale for $20.
Mm-hmm.
I talked him into buying it, and we played it because I like that game. But I actually purposely waited till I could play with people because I don't think the Borderlands games are as much fun solo as they are with friends.
Mm.
And Crofton and I just seem to gel really well with that franchise. So, and we're off to a great start. The humor is cringe, but it still makes Crofton laugh, and he knows it's cringe, but he still laughs, and that makes me laugh. So it just works.
Mm.
And the skeleton, some of the enemies are funny. The skeletons going, when you kill them, they go, "I'm dying a second time!" Ah! Some of the lines they have genuinely make me laugh. They're just pissed about dying again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's fun, and Wanda Sykes is in there. I think Will Arnett does a good job of being the Dragon Lord. He's definitely got good energy.
Oh, I forgot he was in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nothing deep, but it's still kind of fun, and it has a full character creator. But you can kind of make cursed characters. It's funny because I actually made a cat boy to troll Crofton and make him look at a cat boy the whole time, and it's funny that John was like, I had good visions of mana because I hate this cat boy, and I'm like, wait till you see my cat boy and Tiny Tina Wonderlands with my rainbow and unicorn pajamas.
Wow. I kind of want to see this cat boy now. Can you send us a picture? Are we not?
All right.
Do you have a picture of the cat boy? Because we
I do not. I didn't take a picture of
it. Man.
Beau didn't know he was going to need to find out where on the spectrum his cat boy fell.
No, I can maybe take a quick screenshot here while we're chatting. But it's that game is quite good and it's fun with friends. It runs really great. Crofton dropped out and was just able to drop right back in. No fuss, no muss, which was awesome. So the multiplayer is pretty seamless, and I think it's a great little game.
The writing. I always hear that. I haven't played it yet, but I always hear the writing is great and better than 2, better than 3. Like Borderlands, that is. They really nailed that.
The humor is very much D&D, that D&D humor, where Tiny Tina's and this character gives you C4, and then Wanda Sykes is like, can you make it more Dungeons and Dragons please? C4 is a little real world, and so she's like, he gives you Fantasy 4.
Fantasy 4,
but it's a dad joke pun. Fantasy 4, and it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all in the delivery. I delivered it very bad. Okay, I'll show you my Catboy. One sec.
All right, I want to see Catboy. Is Catboy going to show up in
Discord, please?
Discord. All right, I'm in. I want to see Catboy.
The classes are also cool.
Boy.
I'm playing a spell shot.
Oh wow! I didn't know you had this kind of customization. I'm a little surprised.
Oh, it's like Baldur's Gate level of customization. You're not playing preset characters. You get to make your own character.
That is wild.
And you can make them curse. Like you can make one eye super bigger than the other one and make him look like the dude from Goonies.
Wow.
Like it's pretty hilarious. And the classes are fun. So Crofton is of course playing the Stabomancer, and I'm playing a spell shot. And there's like a necromancer guy. There's a druid that likes mushrooms guy, and I don't know, some other class. A berserker who likes cold because it's berserker.
Oh, berserker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's actually great.
But the difference between this and like Borderlands is like I actually have spells as a shot, so I can cast more spells than the other person. I can pick them up, and they do crazy things. It's good, man. It's a good game, and it's $20 right now.
All right. So you recommend it? That's what you're saying. You would play this.
Like I prefer playing these games with people because they feel really empty when you're solo sometimes. I don't think Borderlands 1 or 2 suffered as much from this, but I found pre-sequel 3 and this one, even though they're fun, there's like these arenas and it's full of bad guys and you're like, it'd be really cool to play with people. So I'm glad Crofton is willing to play, but I'd play with, I'd ideally like to play with a full force, but
yeah.
You play. You take what you get.
Almost grabbed this on sale recently, and then didn't. And I don't know why I didn't. I probably should have just grabbed it because I wouldn't mind playing with you guys. Crofton aside, forget Crofton for a minute. Pretend like he's good. That'd be fine.
I know he does enhance it. It's a little different than playing like in an RPG. He's disruptive, but the solution to everything in a Borderlands game is, there's a diplomat being mad. Kill him. Everything is kill him. Yeah. So there's no disruption possible because everything is killed him. So
right,
it's a good game to play with Crofton.
So he's not pickpocketing people he shouldn't and things like that. He's
He can't form alliances. He can't cause any. This game is Crofton proof.
Okay.
So
all right, you've convinced me. I think actually now I'm interested.
You just shoot things and just say, "Look at my sweet kill," and you're like, "Yeah." He may cry about kill stealing.
He may cry about it. Yeah. Well, Crofton, if you're listening, we're just giving you shit. Everything's great. We think you're great.
Yeah, I love Crofton.
He's amazing. He's a great friend.
We wouldn't make jokes if we didn't like him enough to make jokes about
him. For those just tuning in.
Got a great deal off of from Merv Griffin's set. I mean, I'm always going to like the guy for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's the best friend you always had. All right, well done. That's great. Let's take a break. When we come back from this break, we got a Dear Martha grab bag. It's all about, let's just say it's about something that happened in the headlines the last couple of days. All right? We'll get to that in a minute. Some other news, some of your feedback, and more. So come back real soon, won't you? All right, and perfect in all the ways.
Me and my Catboy are fine. So, John, he never actually said if you liked my Catboy or not. Did he trigger you?
He's like a different end of the spectrum, right? Like he looks like a cosplayer.
Your Catboy and Tiny Tina's whatever. Yeah, it is very cosplay.
He looks fresh out of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, there's like a dude in that suit. You just know it stinks. Yeah, I can tell.
Oh yeah, he's smelly for sure.
No way he smells good. I didn't know you could create a character like that. That's actually kind of
yeah. That's one of the main differences between Borderlands and the other one is like you have to play as pre-gens, right?
Yeah.
In Tiny Tina, you get to make your character, and they just call you the newbie. Yeah, that's how they introduce you to. It's kind of funny. They're like, "Oh, who's this new guy?" Okay, newbie. Like they just call you newbie the whole time.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, we're back, everybody. We're going to take a dive into a Dear Martha, and here's our subject today. John's going to have to riff on this. A little bit of improv. Layoffs.
Mostly, you told me the topic a little earlier.
I did.
Than normal,
but you've been thinking about it. And,
yeah, but here's the secret.
Yeah, but here's.
I haven't. I can promise you, I've given it just as much thought, but I did know about it in advance.
Perfect. Then we're going to talk about how layoffs. We haven't talked about them yet, but there were big layoffs at Bungie today. There was also some huge layoffs at Intel. 15,000 people let go at Intel. Woo. What's cutting into that is all these ARM processors. It's killing them. It's murdering them. Anyway, but we want to talk about layoffs while CEOs make millions and party all year. This is more of a reference to Bungie. People are mad at that CEO for making a lot of money, spending a lot of money, and dorking around all year while employees are getting cut left and right. So that's the basis for this. Let's find out what, the hardworking husband far away from Martha has to say.
Yeah, keep it queued up. I think this might be 3 letters, but I will see how it goes.
All right, here we go.
My dearest Martha, what a windfall. It turns out war is quite profitable. I had no idea when I was going in, but turns out when people are scared and desperate and materials are being sent to the front, all of a sudden, the economy's booming. And business is good for me. Let me tell you, Martha, I've bought all manner of things. I bought a second house. I bought several luxury automobiles. And, Martha, I can't imagine this will ever stop. So long as there's war, and Ron Perlman told me it's forever, and doesn't change, actually, we're going to be sitting pretty. Yours in this life and the next. Sicko Peace 32.
Sicko Peace 32.
Okay, give me another
All right,
letter.
You ready? Here comes another one. This one is I got to come up with another one. Oh shit.
Let's play the music.
You already have it. You don't need me to come up with a thing.
Just play the music.
Oh shit, I misunderstood the assignment. All right, here we go.
My dearest Martha, well, the war ended. Huh. I didn't see that coming. Please sign the attached divorce papers. You see, I thought about this long and hard. I understand this might come as a shock to you, but during this uptime, I've become accustomed to a certain level of lifestyle that I expect to continue to have even in this post-war economy. And Martha, if I have to share that with you and Gertrude and Bartholomew and Peter and Derek and Nancy and Nancitonia and Fred and Georgette, well, I just don't see how I'm going to have space for all my automobiles. So, Martha, I think divorce is probably going to be the best bet at this time. Now, I want you to know, I was really torn up about this decision. I thought about it for literally minutes while I was sitting on the toilet earlier today. And for a minute, nothing came out. That's how worked up I was.
Wow.
But Martha, I think you'll find that this is better for all of us. If I can be happy and you can go find someone else to be with, won't that be fun? Yours in this life and the next. I can't remember what the name was from a minute ago.
Like PD Pizza or Pepperoni or something. Oh yeah, Pepperoni was the Beau friend. All right, you got to.
All right, I think that's good. I think we got the point across.
We got the point across.
Fine.
I think you did. This is what we use Martha for. We make satirical comments on the news sometimes instead of talking about it because it's depressing as hell. They laid off 200 employees. How do we know this? Well, listen. Here's some additional news for you. 17% of Bungie's workforce gone. Poof.
Again, since their acquisition, second.
That's right.
So I kind of got in a bit of a hole with this because it came up in our Discord core chat, which you're all invited to come hang out and chat with us in there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come correct, so I started looking up information, and it was the second time that they've done it since being acquired.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Everybody.
Also,
yeah.
turns out, they're having a good. Destiny's having a good year. Sony's having a good year. So it's not because.
Oh, they all make money.
You always get the whole well, listen, companies can't make money. That divorce is a fact.
John got under your skin.
Your fault. It is a fact of life, but I'm not divorced. Layoffs, business, they can happen. There's a scenario where the layoff has to happen. We wouldn't have them if it wasn't warranted sometimes, if the business is going under and they need to make changes. But this marks the 100th time a game company has had a successful game or having a good year. Or I just saw a tweet from someone saying that the Bungie employees are mad because the CEO has 500 vintage cars, some of which he acquired in the past year. Company can't be doing that bad if the guy can spend $2 million on vintage cars. But 200 people got to lose their jobs.
Well, and to go off of that a little bit, because that was part of the sticking point for me, is I was like, okay, we all understand that CEOs make, ridiculous salaries, and I don't necessarily feel the need to throw stones because they bought something with the money they're making, when the issue is just they're making that much money to begin with. But turns out there's a little bit of a caveat on this particular case, because I guess, at least according to what some of the previous employees have said, he invited a couple employees to come out and see his car collection 2 days before they were let go.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
I didn't see that part at
Wait,
all.
what?
Now, I don't know.
Is this real?
I don't know if this is true. It has been tweeted that and it might not have been an official, it might have just been, because I tried to find the exact quote, and I was like, well, that kind of reads like he just said, oh yeah, you should come see it sometime.
What is that follow-up?
Even if it's that, he knows they're getting let go. He knows.
It must be a line of communication, because you brought 2 employees, right? And so they must be able to send them a message dude, you just brought me to your place, why have I
don't know if
job?
they actually went. I think it might have been, I couldn't find any actual statements from people saying they went and saw the cars and then they were let go. I did see somebody saying he said he was bragging about it openly, and at a certain point was yeah, you guys should come see this, collection of cars, and then he fired these people 2 days later.
Oh, we don't know if they really went or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they really went. Regardless, it's still really shitty.
It's skeevy.
It's not good. It's not a good thing, and it's just absolutely ugly across the board, especially because if you actually look at Bungie's statement, what they themselves put out and what they have said.
Yeah.
It reads as this is a upper management issue, that they've done a piss poor job with bringing in and putting people where they need to go to get the projects out in a timely and effective way. But those aren't the people that are getting let go.
Yeah.
It's like a chef cooking you a bad meal and you go, well, don't worry about it. We fired the wait staff.
Yeah.
But the chef's going on to fuck it up somewhere else now. He's actually not even somewhere else, the same restaurant.
Yeah.
And I get that that's the nature of business, but at the same time, we've been doing this so often. This should be, in a normal year, couple years, this would be the number one story. Layoffs like this, but we're relegating it further and further down in the core playbook because it's so common, and it's because of exactly what the Baldur's Gate 3 dev or CEO said. Everybody overhired during COVID, and now those jobs are leaving, and
they were doing it before COVID.
It sucks.
Yeah, they've never not done it, but these kind of sudden ones, and they're all blaming COVID. Well, in this case, here's his quote. He says, "We were overly ambitious. Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red." That is some corporate speak for we overhired.
Yeah.
We overdid it.
They're not, right? Sony had a record year. They met their targets. Everything's good.
No, it's horseshit.
Sure, they can say it, but it's
yeah, they can say it all they want. I don't buy it at all. I mean, I don't buy it any more than I think that guy's going to stop buying fancy cars and stop being paid $25 million a year to be a figurehead or something. But
I think the thing about it is why it comes up, why I've been thinking about this a lot, why it just affects gaming industry so particularly is because these guys do want to foster communities around their games. Like games as a service literally means implies you want people to play a lot, and communities form over that. So you've got people who you can't trust to make a good business environment for people, to make a gaming community for people. It's like, it's like trying to make a steak out of shit. Like your ingredients are bad in the first place. It's poo. Like don't make a steak out of it.
And you can blame. I mean, there is some blame here on PlayStation Studios because they bought them, and now they're the ones making the call. 155 of these people are also being moved, 220 roles are being eliminated.
220 is the elimination. Additional employees are being moved. At least that's how I read it.
Right, moved to PlayStation is how they put it.
Yeah,
whatever that means, but.
I mean, it's like the fate of all companies that get bought. Like they don't perform up to the expectations of the company that bought them, then they'll get stripped for parts eventually once it stops performing, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
if that happens, that's always been a worry about Blizzard. They're in a new era right now, so Microsoft may actually be more hands off because that company is so Byzantine. They may get ignored more on that front, like the expectations will be different.
Yeah.
It's not Bobby Kotick and his league of degenerates at the helm now.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Again, it's just, I don't believe that these companies are making great decisions. I just put no faith in that. And I really think it is such a volatile but important industry. Like the industry makes tons of money. People want to be in it. It's not so bad that they don't want to be in it, but it is extremely volatile, right? Like, you choose the wrong protagonist in your Assassin's Creed game, and all of a sudden the entire nation of Japan's writing you a letter that they're mad or something like that, and then you're like, oh no, are we gonna make our sale? Like, so volatile.
Yeah. Except that, just for the record, that the opposite of that happened with that game. But I know what you mean. I get your point.
The opposite. Oh,
yeah. Nobody in Japan cared about the.
I thought there was a petition that was Japanese in origin. I thought I read that.
Oh, I thought that was all. I thought that was all White Knight shit from here. I thought maybe I have. Maybe I heard it wrong.
I don't know. It's not that I'm being a little hyperbolic for humor's sake. I don't really know that it's not the entire nation of Japan, but there was a petition, I think, at some point.
Oh, weird. I'll have to look
from
it up.
Japanese players, and because maybe it's fake news. I don't know. I didn't look into it that deeply. I just saw that circulating.
Sure.
On social medias and stuff. But the point I'm just trying to make is like, it's volatile, right? Like, look at Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, beloved studio. Everyone should be like, oh, let's give these guys a chance, and everyone shat on that game from like the jump.
Yeah.
And how do you have a stable business with a stable workforce when your financials are all over the place?
Yeah.
And also, I think Suicide Squad is the poster boy for the problem of a bunch of people at the top making bad decisions and the wrong people being let go.
That needs to be like built into the plan. Like, people who make the wrong decisions can still put out products that make sales. Like, there's a lot of people who play video games. So if only talented, angelic people succeeded in the video game industry, we wouldn't have these problems. Like, it's clear, like, I think these businesses succeed in spite of some of the personalities at the top.
Yeah.
So they do need protections. And protections, the other nuance that always gets lost in this is like, if they have to cut down their workforce, like, you're going to make them keep people on staff, even though they're losing money, and it just doesn't work that way. Like, I think you still can have layoffs even if you have a union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the union, what it does, like in a situation where you lose your job because they make a case to the union that they got to lay people off, the union agrees, you are held in reserve. You can, like, depending on the rules, I know I've been a part of a union where if I lose my job, they'll call me. I'm on a priority list when a spot opens up. So I may have to go work somewhere else for a little while, and that sucks. But I eventually can come back and I don't lose my seniority. I can resume working there. That's like a protection. So, I just don't know how it is for you guys in the States. You guys have lots of unions too. So I just know, like, the whole Amazon, Microsoft. Well, Microsoft's been okay about it, but Amazon workers really need to unionize. They're treated very badly.
Yeah, it's kind of a tech sector problem. Games are part of that, I think. So,
like, I really just wish the subject itself wasn't so like toxic to touch. Sometimes it's pretty obvious that it's okay for people to have protections, and it's just the gaming industry is really highlighting it because there is no protection, and it's so volatile.
Yeah.
That they want to. I'm sure they want to even double the amount of cuts they do.
And yet you're seeing so much money roll in at the same time. I think that's part of what also makes it stand out so much is there's such a disparity between like, look at how much turnover and layoffs and all of that we're seeing versus look at how much profits are being reported and recorded. And it's funny because I know, Beau, you don't like this show because it's just, we made people eat hot chicken. But Vince Vaughn was on Hot Ones today, and he actually said something that feels so appropriate to this. I didn't know I was going to say it, so I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he was talking about the movie industry, the entertainment industry. I think it applies to video games too, where he said there's a lot of people high up that are making decisions based on a formula that has been proven to not work just to keep their job. And they do it because when it fails, which it often does, they get to say, but I followed the formula that worked these couple of times. You can't fire me. Look at how good I am at doing my job.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a lot of that with the video game industry where people are like saying, oh, we made a hero shooter. Like, those are proven to work. Like, I'm not doing a bad job, with deciding what video games get made. We did a game as a service, free to play, microtransaction, heavy looter shooter. Like, that's what you do if you want to make profits in this industry. I don't know why it failed. And anybody with eyeballs and a brain can tell you why it failed, but they do just enough to ensure that they get to be the ones that keep their job while other people get fired.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also interesting just the juxtaposition of the entertainment industry up against video games, because video games make so much more now than like TV and movies combined. And TVs and movies are full of unions. Like, they've done it for the most part. And gaming has not. And gaming does so much more revenue than those businesses do. That it wasn't always the case, but it is now. And it will continue to be so, as far as I'm concerned, as best you can tell. I just think they're future-proofing their investors. They're just saying, well,
I think it's an arms race thing too, though.
Yeah,
like,
I bet
the
that.
new media has always like kind of laughed in the face of regulation and government and tech. They don't understand tech, right? They don't understand really what's going on in Fortnite. Loot boxes took a really long time to get some regulation for them, and I still think they could go further. I bring this up too because we don't really talk about YouTuber controversies that much, and I'm really not trying to dive into any of it, but there was a video floating around about Mr. Beast basically flaunting lottery laws, which I found interesting. Like, even in the United States, like, lotteries are regulated.
They are.
and he's basically, there's constructively, in many ways, an argument to be made that he's been running illegal lotteries for the past like 5-10 years. And he has the backing of YouTube. There was like official YouTube originals doing some of this stuff, and it's like somewhere a lawyer must have said like, this is a lottery. You'd think, anyways, and it's like, well, what's they saying? Do wrong now and ask forgiveness later. Like, make the millions and then pay the fines.
Yeah.
Don't just say like, oh, we're not going to do this because we might get in trouble. It's like, yeah, we'll get in trouble, but it's not like we're going to go to jail.
Yeah, we'll make enough money to pay the dumb fees.
So basically, he's been running illegal lotteries. Because we could do that here. We could say, like, sign up to our Patreon and you can enter a draw.
Yeah.
To win something random, but then we're running a lottery, and it's illegal for you to do that, and most people know and don't do that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Somehow he's been able to get away with it for a really long time. So that just again goes to the whole industry, is that tech is like, yeah, you don't need unions. They're going to say we don't need unions for as long as humanly possible until somebody finally we get our own, Steve Austin to pin them down and be like, you're doing unions whether you like it or not, bitch. Like, that's what needs to be done. I don't know how we do it. I know people are trying, but.
Well, the good news is so now the lesson learned. This is why we do Dear Martha, so that we satirize things and end up not talking for a long time about it.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not
knew we
blaming
weren't gonna
you.
get away from this.
I'm
one,
not
Scott.
blaming you, Beau. I'm not blaming anybody. This is just what we do. It's fine.
I actually happened to do some research where normally, guys, I'm sorry, I don't do a lot of research, but I actually randomly did I got rabbit holed and did research on the Bungie thing, so I kind of know it in a bit of detail.
That's all good.
The Mr. I like content nukes. There's a good content nuke that went up on Mr. Beast this week, and yeah, I watched that too. So
I saw your message about, hey, maybe if we put this in the Dear Martha, we aren't going to talk about it. I was like, no, that ain't going to happen. But
Yeah.
I'll let you go ahead and think that
It was
that'll-
wishful.
yeah, they love it. They love it.
It was wishful
What's that?
thinking, but also I do like talk. I mean, it is important to talk about. So
It just
I sort of agree
sometimes
with
can
you that
feel
we've-
like we're doing this again. Like that was the idea, was to get away from they're talking about this again.
These
But
We're not the
Layoffs again.
Gamers Union show. I think that's the whole. It's
no,
maybe
we're
we
not.
should be like maybe that's I don't know. Maybe we become. Maybe we should. Maybe that's a direction, but we haven't discussed it, and it does feel like here's more depressing union news. Let's say the same things that we've been saying every week. Like that, it gets tedious. I'm not sure for listeners, but it does get tedious for us because we like to be positive and
Yeah.
we're a show that revels in the joy of gaming, not in the drama of whatever's going on. We avoid that consciously, and we try not to have the same topic every week. And if it feels callow to be like, people lost their jobs again, so boring.
Yeah, no, it really does. It's like,
what a boring topic. I don't want to talk about this topic, but
the
it's
problem
hard.
is that our opinion on it hasn't changed, isn't going to change. We've said our piece, and sadly, it's a weekly topic these days.
yeah, these
So-
days it feels like there's always a new one every week. It feels
And
like.
I think we know a lot of, between the three of us, we know or tangentially know, or just even in the audience space, I think there's a lot of industry people that listen to the show.
Oh yeah,
That
there are
work
people
in
in voice
games.
actors guild. There are people in development and engineering and design, and I know.
I think what I'm saying is I think it does matter to our audience a little more, right? Like no one cares if Moist Critical talks about it because he's probably just got, a different audience or somebody like that. But I feel like there's a lot of professionals, a lot of middle-aged adult professionals in and around the games industry listen to the show, and it does feel a little bit. I don't know. I do feel a little bit callow when we're like, let's not talk about it, or I just feel like I have to talk about it. Maybe
It's totally
more.
fine if we have I kid mostly about the Martha thing, but if we have like an angle, and we did today, and I think that's good. I think what we did.
And I
today
saw
is
your
good.
thread. You were lamenting your daughter going into game development, and you're just like, man,
It's really frustrating for her. She's really frustrated because she's awesome. She has so many she's talented as hell. She got a degree in the damn thing. She's ready to go, and nobody's hiring. And if anyone is doing anything, they're firing. And everybody's talking about, well, we're going to jump ship and do our own studio. Well, that's easy for them to say. It's hard for somebody who hasn't gotten to get in the door first. All of them got in the door. Everybody at Dreamhaven, they were in the door.
if I've heard this from a number of people. I think some people hate this advice, so they might trigger it, and I'm almost even a little leery to give it. But if there is an opportunity for her to intern or work for free at a company with a good reputation, that can really get you in a door.
It can.
throwing that
I
out
just
there.
hate
Yeah.
unpaid internships. Also a big pet.
Well,
peeve
you're
of mine.
interviewing them
Yeah.
as much as they're interviewing you. I know I've done that a little bit.
Mhm.
Not in the games industry though, but just for like regular jobs where I take a wage way below. It wasn't free, but a wage way below
Yeah.
what I would want to work for, and it gets you in, it gets you connected and networked.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something I'd do in my 40s, but if you do have the opportunity and it's a great company, and that can be a way in.
Well, I
But-
think she'd do it in a heartbeat if we had more like remote options. Right now, for her
Yeah.
to relocate to say Irvine, where all the hotbed is, or maybe even Austin, Texas, the hotbed of game development, these two big cities, ridiculous levels of what do you call it? Cost of living.
Cost of living.
Yeah.
Oh
It's-
yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
No, I'm not saying it's like an easy silver bullet by any stretch, but sometimes it's something you don't really think about that
Yeah.
if you can get that done. And I'd like to believe there's some good companies. I choose to believe Hello Games is good. I choose to believe anyone working with Chris Metzen has a great experience at Blizzard.
Yeah, I choose to believe that everything that's going on over at Greg Street's deal, I feel that way
Yeah.
about. Like I
Yeah,
know
those
there are
guys
good
all
people. They're great.
Pleased as punch to be working at Fantastic Pixel Castle.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I
there
hope
are-
at least.
Yeah,
Like, that's the hope.
best I can tell
Really
is they're-
want to be blindsided by anything again, but that's the hope at least.
Big
Yeah.
like corpo thing, like the old. I don't know, like companies with bad reps. Like I feel like Bungie would make me leery. Ubisoft would make me leery.
Yeah.
I also, but I have some inside baseball on Ubi because Crofted did work for them a long time ago, so I kind of know
Yeah.
more than the average person.
Yeah.
The company. And who else seems like a great company to work for? We're just like, I think it would be probably pretty good.
I mean,
I
Blizzard.
don't know, there's lots of them. I guess we don't have to list them all.
Blizzard had that forever, but nowadays it's like
Until they didn't.
until they didn't, and then you're like,
a lot of it was retroactive from times you went, oh, I bet that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So like that's why I'm hesitant to do it. You know, like I think you gotta pursue your passions, you know, like there's a thought where it's like, you know, I considered doing, you know, like voice work before, but you look at what they're doing with the SAG-AFTRA strike and it's like, man, I really like, can you imagine getting in how hard it is to break into that industry just to be, you know, like, well, we got to fight for our right not to have our voice stolen. Like, what a rough fight. Like, but I think the thing is I think you kind of have to just go, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. And you gotta look out for yourself, but you also gotta, these days it feels like you gotta have a strong plan B, because it's pretty rough out there. And like the other problem that kind of goes unseen, because you hear about the news stories when everybody gets fired, but you have to keep in mind that when people are getting fired every month, every week, sometimes now all those people are looking for the same jobs, same types of jobs in the industry where across the board, seemingly, everybody's saying, oh, we overhired. There is no realistic way that those people are finding jobs in the same field. There are a lot of people that are going and doing something else now, or relocating, because if the problem was they overhired and now all these people are looking for work at the same time, they're not just moving someplace else. Like, these are people that are being dropped out of, you know, their dream, or at least what they were pursuing.
Yeah, they're out of the industry. This used to be, you'd see a layoff come from somebody, and the entire rest of the industry would immediately start posting, hey, send us your resume. We're hiring right now. We're doing this, we're doing that. You don't see that at all right now. It's none of it.
Yeah.
Everybody's
sometimes you might see it from one company, but like, you know, 220 employees is not our company's looking to fill 5 very specific job postings right now, and that's it. You know, it's rough. And even in the days where people would say, oh, it was so toxic because a team would finish the game they were working on and then the entire team would be let go because games as a service and continuing on didn't exist. At least in that case, typically it was like, yeah, the whole team's let go, but now they go off to the other teams that are now picking up pace and getting ready to build up before they do the same thing. So you could almost find some comfort in how chaotic it was. Like, it was expected chaos. Now it's like, I don't know, we finished the game. Maybe we'll all keep our job. Maybe we won't. Who knows? And who knows if there'll be jobs waiting for us at the end.
Yeah, and even if you've just got news that your game is the best-selling game of the year and blew everyone's expectations and guarantees sequels, it doesn't guarantee job safety anymore at all. Some of the biggest hits happen, and then it's like, all right, well, sorry, everybody, we're done with the hard work. Get out of here. Like, that sucks. That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you tell people in advance, like, we'll contract you for the game.
Yeah, that's different. Then they have expectations, and they're realistic. Sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, if that's the way things are going to go, you could have a workforce expectation that works like that. Like that. That's literally movies. I'm hiring you for this movie. When the movie's done, bye. Bye, Tom Cruise. Yep. You know, we'll send you the check in the mail.
Yep.
So, you know, if that's the expectation, then it's different. But they hire them indefinitely. By the way, I'm on the Bungie website right now.
Yeah.
There's 8 open positions.
Sure there are.
By the way, yeah, you know, they got Destiny gameplay designer. Do you think they laid off any designers or potentially people who could work on design?
Probably, yeah.
Progression engineer, somebody to make loot boxes and shit.
If I had to guess, nobody's updated their site, just like this happened last week or 2 weeks ago with that other one we covered. I don't think they're
these look like they're very specific jobs that are open. Actually,
I guarantee
pay a
someone in
lot.
that 220 staff could have done what you just read.
There's a publishing and marketing job that pays 150,000 US.
It's pretty good.
60. That's the pay range they put in there. Like
Yeah.
maybe you're. I don't know.
Where are they up?
That seems like a lot to me, but anyways,
are they up in Redmond still? They're in Washington, right?
There's Marathon senior AI designer, Marathon weapons designer. Like they don't have a. I hope they didn't lay off any weapons designers on the Destiny team.
All the weapons designers they've got to be lousy with weapons designers.
Wow, a weapons designer. The pay range tier 1 is 98,000 to 129,000. You know,
pay well, I guess.
Well, and the reality, Revan said it in the chat. I was thinking it too. Is but you can hire someone new for far cheaper.
Well, good point.
It doesn't look cheap, which is kind of crazy to say, but I guess it must be cheaper than what they're making.
Yeah. Well, also some of these companies, Bungie's one of these too, but they don't. Why? You know what you never hear about? Layoffs at Valve. You never hear about that. Now I understand they print money making Steam. Using Steam as their money printer. I understand, but they're not a public company who has to impress shareholders constantly. I think that's a huge factor here, because a layoff today is a show of profit a year from now.
Yeah.
And I hate that. So I would rather they all go free. Get out of the you know what? It's the public shit that sucks. The F's name something that doesn't get F'd by going public. Eventually, it all goes to hell. I'm anti-public companies. There, I said it.
Yeah, I think I don't think it gels well with what games are, which is like community building. And if you can't have a good work community, why do you expect to have a good player community? Like the whole thing becomes cynical.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, it's just a race to the bottom, or a slow race, or a fast race. But yeah, I mean that it is why private enterprises just work better, or sometimes the companies for a while work in spite of itself.
Yeah.
Like when Blizzard was left alone, they were doing great.
Yeah, seemed to be okay.
The meddling increased reportedly. I'll be curious to see if that gets covered in Jason Schreier's book in the coming months.
Yeah, when is that due? I want to read it.
October, I think. It's soon. It's nigh. I think all three of us are probably going to read it.
I know multiple people at Blizzard who were approached by him for, to be interviewed for it, and they all turned him down. So I don't know where he's going to go for his info. Feels like a lot of people are like, I don't want to talk about it. So I have. It's not that I don't trust it. I'm curious what he found and then where he found it.
That's what I mean. I don't know. That's waiting this long has kind of been annoying in that sense.
I still think Chris Metzen should do the audiobook, but as do I.
Well, he may be one of the ones that turned him down, but yeah, maybe he'd do that part.
I mean, yeah, I think, in spite of all we might say about Blizzard and what's happened there, they, to me, have always been an exemplar of building community, even in spite of the fact that they've been corporate. And
they're good at it.
That's really been put to the test in the past,
4
difficult era. And now we're in sort of this new era to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
With that, I wouldn't sing them praises yet, but they had that. They BlizzCon. I mean, they literally we're the only company that could make a convention and have it. It's kind of incredible the number of people that will go.
The levels they achieved with that convention in terms of FOMO and gotta go and snipe tickets on day one and all this kind of stuff. Pretty unheard of. A lot of other games will have smaller things, but these guys had the big turkey. No, and if anything, this last BlizzCon proved that these dents are hurting them, because they had tickets right up until the weekend of the event, and that's never happened in my time doing any of this stuff with Blizzard.
Still paying the price.
Almost never lasted past 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy how much that changed, and I think that's why there's not one this year. I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on, but not really.
It takes time to what is it? The reputation could be that you build over a decade can be lost in a second. Blink of an eye.
Doesn't take much.
That's consequence of how people feel about the company, about how they really blew it. And the player bases are finicky, but I think a lot of people are willing to give benefit of the doubt when mistakes are made and corrections are made after. It's really on the approach, and just a real cavalcade of bad decisions for a while. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. How do you feel about paying for a mouse forever? How do you feel about that? A subscription for a Logitech mouse. AI-driven, subscription-based mouse called the Forever Mouse. Have I convinced either of you to get in?
I feel like I would want to stick a mouse down whoever's idea that was throat and see how they enjoy their Forever Mouse.
It's a little weird, man. I mean, I understand they want it. So the way this headline...
What about a wrench that has a subscription and you can't fix your car unless you pay $9.99 a month?
The headline says Logitech's Forever Mouse could mean peripherals go all the way of coffee beans, TVs, and printer ink by pushing a subscription. So I would assume this means that if your mouse... Well, I didn't read that deep, but if the mouse dies, it sends you another one. If the part falls off, they get you another one. Like, you're just paying for the privilege of having a mouse, and it will always be there. And if it breaks, they'll fix it.
It's so
I think they want it to be a top quality mouse that you don't have to replace.
Yeah, but then just sell me one. Like, you have...
No, because then you're not going to buy a mouse ever again. You have to pay us frequent payments, Scott.
I love them. I have.
And we're using the power of AI. Imagine, Scott, through the power of AI. Imagine if there was a button on your mouse. Okay, are you picturing it?
Yeah, I'm picturing it.
Are you picturing a button on your mouse?
I am.
Now, it's not the left mouse button. It's not the right mouse button. It's not the mouse wheel.
Yeah.
This is a different button.
Okay.
And it's on the mouse.
Yeah.
Now, imagine that through the power of AI, and only AI could bring you this.
Okay.
You could assign that button to be something else.
Okay, but...
Huh? What do you think of that?
No,
the power of AI...
No.
You could turn that button into a different button. It could do something that you wanted it to do.
This is already, like, it's already a problem, but that does not solve it. Like, this AI, the introduction of AI is, everyone's using it as a way to say our products are this much better now because AI is now part of the functionality or whatever. Does nothing.
Oh, I know.
Me.
Like, that's literally, just for anybody that didn't get the sarcasm, my mouse currently does this.
Yeah.
It's called macros. It already exists, but now they are basically, what they want to do is they want to use AI to I guess, if you wanted to give it some form and functionality more than what it already is, they want you to be able to be like, hey mouse, it sure would be cool if, like, when I push this button, it was like the control key. And then it goes beep boop, okay. And then then it does it. You can do this right now, but I think they want to harness the power of AI and the beep boops to get it to do that for you while you just talk.
Yeah, because the beep boops, I would rather pay monthly for my beep boops than
yeah, but you got to pay for that kind of comfort. Otherwise, you got to figure out how to open their software.
I mean,
you got to figure out how to look at that picture of a mouse and click, and then you have to learn how to type CTRL. Who knows what that means?
Yeah.
Into the search thing and drag it to the button to change what that does.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, every company, this gained a lot of attention, this news story. A lot of people were talking about it. This feels like a story that was not meant for mere mortals. It was meant for business people to get excited.
It's like
and
it
give
escaped
Logitech money.
Yeah, escaped the boardroom by accident almost.
But it's the CEO who made this comment. It was a CEO interview.
It's so silly and scummy.
You know why they do this though? Okay, I just looked over there. That's why I walked away, and I'm over here looking too. I have about 7 mice around my view angle here. All of them are Logitech, and there's a reason. I really like their mice, and they last forever, and they're really great mice. Gaming mice, regular productivity mice, remote or wireless mice, wired mice. I have a whole array of them, and I will say that I'm a huge fan of Logitech as a mouse brand. The best, I think. Me too,
actually.
Now, here's
I have
the problem,
a Razer keyboard. I do not have a Razer mouse because I have not seen that quality from Razer.
Exactly.
So Steel Series mouse.
So and Steel Series is pretty good. But the thing is, they have that reputation already. They have this amazing product already. This is them going, well, shit, our things are too good. We need more revenue things because we're a public company and we have to show performance or whatever. They have to do this like everybody else has to do this. So they're finding this new thing, trying to trip up the model. I don't think this works. This is dumb. Very dumb.
They're all jealous of Netflix.
Yeah. Also, you really open the door for conspiratorial thinking because let me tell you, if they put out a new mouse or if they update the models that everybody's using because they like it,
Yeah.
and the new mice start failing quickly,
Oh man.
people are gonna be like, "Oh, they're
mean,
doing it. They're trying to sell their stupid failure. I'm sorry, forever mouse."
It's techno feudalism. What these companies have stumbled on is how great tax is.
Yeah.
Because every year the government gets your tax,
Yep.
and all the companies are like, "Wait, subscriptions are like baby tax. Like, let's get some of that tax. Like, if you're just like locked in and never unsubscribe, you're just paying tax."
You get 1 million people spending $1 a month on a thing they didn't have to pay for before. You just got $1 million free and clear. Like it's I understand the attractiveness of it, but there's at some point it just goes too far, and it would really make me sad if they tried to do this, because I have incredible loyalty to that company. I love their stuff.
But I think it's like I still would want to know what's the
mine. This is great.
But what's the enticement? Because part of the fun of the mice is finding that new mouse. Like if you're just like shit, I need to get a new mouse. Like I've had a World of Warcraft mouse.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a slick ass esports silver mouse. I've got a black esports mouse. Like I don't know what mouse is going to be next in my life, and that prospect's exciting.
Yeah.
But if I'm on a subscription and I get this forever mouse, it's the same mouse. I'm basically getting married to my mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mouse spouse.
Yeah. It's a mouse spouse.
It's a mouse spouse in your house.
I'm not excited.
Who
to get
wants
married.
that?
I don't want a spouse mouse. The same old mouse for the
Not
next
to
40
grouse,
years.
but I don't want a mouse spouse in my house.
I was struggling to find a third rhyme, and you did it. You found it. I'm impressed because I couldn't think of a third rhyming word. Grouse, mouse, house, louse, spouse, and Kraus.
Yes.
We're all out. That's it. That's all we got. All right. Well, there's enough of that dumb story. Freaking hate that. Jonathan Blow says the Braid Remaster has sold like dog shit. That's his quote. I would almost say that the sales on it blow.
Can he maybe try telling the world that there's a remaster?
Yeah,
about it.
I'm 100% with Beau on this. Like, look, I like Braid. I thought it was a great game at the time.
Sure.
I like games that Jonathan Blow has made. He has sometimes been a bit of a intense figure in the industry, but overall, the games he's made have been very good. Here's a couple constructive criticisms for Braid Remaster. One, I had no idea it existed.
Yeah.
And hearing Beau say that, I feel a little vindicated in knowing this because
make that 3 of us.
I think that might be okay. All 3 of us didn't even know it existed.
Nope.
Problem number 1. Problem number 2. This isn't like small indie creator, indie company, and it sounds like the company's in trouble. So I'm not trying to make light of potentially a company closing, people losing jobs. But again, we have been trained by bigger companies that they are constantly repeddling junk back out to us to buy it again.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of work gets put into it, and sometimes it feels like a money grab. And maybe this was the only option that their company felt like that they could do. It was to just like, well, let's remaster Braid and put it back out. But if there's a game I don't really think needs remastering, Braid would be on that list.
No, it's already
I'm not like,
widescreen.
oh man, this game, like, it looks pretty, it plays well. It feels completely unnecessary.
Yep.
And again, if it was a way that they were like, well, maybe that we can do this fairly cheaply, we just got to do some high res assets, and we're going to do, I guess they did a big commentary track for it. Like, that's cool. But like, we're so programmed to be resold the same game over and over that I think a lot of people just roll their eyes at this sort of stuff and go, why would I buy Braid again? And I think a lot of people would go, why would I buy Braid again? So to me, hearing that it sold like dog shit is not surprising because I, 1, didn't know it existed, and 2, even as somebody that likes that game, I'm like, well, why would I buy it?
Also, I don't know how much dog shit go for these days. Like if you had to sell dog shit, because that's a pretty low bar, right?
Yeah, it's low. Not a lot of movement on that.
No, one way of saying it.
Outside the dog.
Well,
That's
I
right.
mean, manure is probably has a market value.
Yeah, but dog poo? I don't know.
Well, I think it's just manure. I don't know if when you buy manure, is it specifically a type of manure, or
cow,
is it just
right?
an assortment?
I think it's cattle. I think I could be wrong.
I mean, because there's like chicken shit and stuff too. Like, are you like, I need 100% pure cow manure? Or are you like, just give me manure? It can be cow.
I think the reason they like manure
dog.
or cow manure is because it's mostly grass fed stuff, and that works really well to like re-soil up the ground and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I saw the Lion King.
Can I ask? Have you guys ever shoveled manure?
Oh yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah.
You had an experience of that?
My grandpa had a farm, and we used to have to go over there and do that.
Man, it's so crazy just how hard it gets.
What do you mean,
because you got to shovel it and scrape it off the ground,
I see.
and
like hard.
Like it's not live manure; it's like manure that's just like settled. You're cleaning up the barn,
right?
So there's like 6 inches of manure.
It's bark. It's like bark or wood.
Yeah. It's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for the manure tangent.
No, I like a good manure tangent.
You just
what do y'all think about manure?
I mean, the farm had a dog on it, so there's probably dog shit in the manure pile. It's just like a wall of shit on the floor, right?
That's true. Yeah. But also, to John's point, I looked at the screens. I don't think it needed a remaster, and it's actually kind of hard to tell that it did get one. And all you did was make it. It was already widescreen in 1080p. I just don't understand who wanted this.
The trailer on Steam actually does some side by side where they've increased the differences. Sure. The pixel density of all the art has increased. Like, I don't know how they achieved it, but like there's even, I'll just send a screenshot of what I'm seeing here just to give you an idea. This is what they claim. Whether it may not move the meter for you, that it's very matters, but like here you go. Like they've
Let's see.
I think there was work to increase to make it look crisp on a 1080p screen.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, I actually kind of prefer the pixel one, but that's, I like that aesthetic.
Oh, that's an argument to be made too about style, but so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of work went into this. I think the decision to move forward with it was a bad one, but the bigger one is you didn't market it. None of that money was used to market. Nobody was talking about it. I'm not sure anybody was asking for it. Like, no one was clamoring for a remake, or not even a remake, a remaster.
Even if it finds 100,000 people who haven't, I'm sure not everyone's played this game. I haven't.
Braid's awesome. It's really good.
There is it could find its customers, right? There's lots of people to sell it to for this to be a success. That doesn't mean we would have to play it or something, or you would have to play it again. I think a game that old, if it's appealing to people, great, but it does show you how important it is to get the word out about your game.
Well, he's only done the 2, right? He did Braid, and then he did
The Witness,
which was awesome also. I mean, the guy's really, he's a legit wonderkind kind of developer. Starts on his own, does his thing. He's a lot like Lucas Pope, although personally I like the Lucas Pope way. That guy didn't start a company and add a bunch of people. And I understand if you want to grow, you can do that. But I like it's kind of the Frogpants way, to be honest. You keep as much of it in your hands as you can, because the minute you say, we're going to grow like a big thing, then you're going to have to pull back. People are going to have to go. It sucks. It's the worst. And I hate doing that to someone else. I'd rather fail myself than have anyone else fail because something didn't work out, right? So I would say, if I were Jonathan Blow, I'd just be, he made a lot of money from these games. The dude that made Stardew Valley, he continues to rake money in on that game. He sells new copies all the time. Huge success, insane amount of success, and he deserves every bit of it. But the one thing he doesn't seem to be doing is starting some big startup. He's still just happy making his thing and making a ton of money doing it. I wish more of these guys would do that. Because you're just gonna.
And again, I don't know their situation. Maybe this was the only thing they felt they could financially viably do. Because if they are talking about the studio closing on the back of this not doing well, obviously they weren't in a great spot. So maybe when it comes to well, hey, can we ramp up and make a brand new video game? No, we can only justify the cost of a Braid remaster, and maybe that pays for something else if it does really well. So they might have felt stuck, and if that's the case, that sucks. But it's just really hard to say who this would have been for. And again, I think it flew so low under the radar that even if you were someone that this is for, it's really hard to. It was really hard to see and even know about.
Bill in the chat made a good point. He says, aren't most remasters a nostalgia play and not designed to bring in new players? I think he's right. Who is this for?
Most. But Dead Space was pretty 1-to-1 from the original game.
Yeah, and they're not making any more because it didn't sell. It's relative, but they didn't sell enough of those either. Like, I think it's kind of the same problem.
Yeah, well, I think they sold like a couple million copies.
Oh, they did, but that wasn't
well,
anywhere
they
near
did,
they
but they're
needed.
not making a new one or two because it didn't sell to expectations.
Enough, yeah. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's a relative. It's the same thing, just a relative number. EA expects way more money, and that didn't reach their expectations, which sucks because that should be enough. I remember if a million seller game happened not that many years ago, that meant you were golden for the next 30 years to make games. Like, you were just going to make video games. And now it's like, oh, it only sold 4 million. Well, we'll mark that one up as a failure and move on and fire half the staff. Hate that. Not to take it back to that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble again. Not that I'm getting in trouble now.
You haven't gotten in trouble yet.
I'm just waiting for those emails. Someone's going to be like all corpo and anti-union. They're going to give a shit.
There always is. And you know what? They're probably either profiting from it or have some other agenda. So delete the email and move on.
I like your advice.
It's hard to avoid a topic that is that important. So yeah, just send them to
Beau.
Reddit. Send them to Twitter.
Forward to Beau.
All right, I'll send them to Twitter.
Forward to me
out.
too. I'll be sure to delete them.
We got a little note here about FromSoft. They're warning Elden Ring players that your mouse could be holding you back or at least tanking your frame rate. Is that a thing?
I don't know. So
you played
this was
that
their
way.
Official statement. I do play on PC and I do have a mouse, but I don't have like the steel. I hate. So we talked. Speaking of peripherals, I hate peripheral apps with a passion.
Oh, like overlays and stuff. I hate that.
Yeah, like I get a sweet mouse and it's like, here's another app to put in your system tray and run. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, not my favorite.
I do appreciate they need to be an app because if you need to change your DPI or whatever, then like, yeah, okay. But like, I hate them. So I don't have one running currently. So I don't know. But I've seen frame rate dips in what I assume are high graphical areas.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're the same dips that other people are experiencing. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have this problem.
Oh.
If I bump my mouse while playing Elden Ring, the game locks up.
Whoa.
Not forever, just for a little bit. Just
Weird.
For a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
if my mouse gets moved while I'm playing with controller, the game freezes for a moment. It hitches. And sometimes it will just do it on its own, but I also have a tendency to bounce my leg. Like I got whatever it is that makes people bounce their leg. And I think sometimes that shakes the desk enough to move the mouse.
Jimmy
then
legs or whatever?
Elden Ring. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't used to do it, and then I sat next to someone in church that did it, and I picked it up. Like I've picked up a couple bad habits from people just by being around them sometimes. I worked with a guy who paced while he was on the phone. I started pacing.
Oh, I do that all the time. I hate that I do it, but I do it when I'm on the phone. I don't know why.
I picked it up from someone, didn't used to do it, watched him do it all the time at work, and now I do it. Sat next to somebody who did it, the leg bouncing, now I do it. It's awful. I hate it. Well, it's never a good trait. It's never a case I sat next to somebody that was just really good at making money and look how rich I am.
Yeah, look at all you.
It's always just weird, stupid bug human being traits that I've picked up, but there they are.
Oh. Huh. Well, there's that. Hey, we thought we'd take a quick look at the games of August. I love this. This is John's idea. I think it's great. The games of August, everybody. In fact, I think it deserves a little music. How about this? Let's just put in... let's do the farting hands Nintendo theme. All right, we're going to play that in the background. I have like a whole collection of those. There's some real weird ones. I mean, listen to that. Listen. Hold on. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, this is good.
They're doing it.
How about this one? I really like that one. All right, we'll do that one. Okay, let's take a look at it, because this is a big month, guys. I don't know if you noticed, but there's some big stuff coming. And some of them are indie, but a couple of them you might be familiar with. The one I'm looking forward to the most comes out on the 8th. Well, that's not true. The 15th, but I already have it because I got it early. I may or may not have gotten an early copy of Shapez 2 with a Z.
Shapez with a Z.
But the other one I've been looking forward to is SteamWorld Heist 2. SteamWorld Heist 1 is one of my favorite games ever, and it is the most... SteamWorld says, hey, what if we made a 2D XCOM? That's what they did, and it's amazing. If you've never played it, you missed out. 2 looks incredible. Can't wait to play it. That comes out on August 8th.
8th.
Yeah, on everything. If you have a PS5, an Xbox Series X or S, you might want Volgar the Viking 2. I don't know what that is.
Volgar the Viking was awesome.
I don't know what that. I've never played it.
It's an old throwback to Genesis era video gaming. It's really hard. It's like one of those punishing side scroller slasher games.
Yeah.
And it's a real throwback in terms of graphics, and it's just hard as hell, and it's great.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
All right.
Try Volgar the Viking 1.
I'm interested. Also, Kenya. Sorry, Beau, go ahead.
Oh, just Volgar came out in 2013. That's an oldie game.
Oh, geez. All right. Follow-up finally happening. Kenya, Bridge of Spirits. I played this, or Kenna, not Kenya. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Very pretty, Unreal.
Kenya.
A very pretty.
Can you believe it?
It's an Unreal 5 game that blew my mind at the time. Played it on PlayStation with PlayStation Plus. It's included there. This is now coming on August 15th to the Series S and X and Xbox One. I think it's already on PC. Yeah, it was on Epic for a long time only, and now Steam has it. So that might be worth checking out. Oh, gosh, what else? Madden 25. Skipping past that. Don't care.
You just say it, and I get PTSD for Madden. Having worked in video game retail, there's nothing worse than new Madden time, because it was like corporates contacting you. You guys pumped enough about Madden. You got to get excited. You got your pre-orders. You're going to open at midnight. All for a game I didn't give a shit about, and it was just a lot of extra work and process for a game that I couldn't muster an inch of excitement over.
Yeah.
And it bummed me out every year, and it was going to happen every year. And every year I had to have this conversation. Someone would come in, so we'll just use 25 as an example, as if I still worked there.
Okay.
And they would come in with Madden NFL 24 the day that 25 came out. And they would be like, how much can I get for this bad boy? And you're like, yeah, 25 cents. And they're like, why? Tell me why. And they would just be so upset.
Tell me
like,
why.
well, yeah, because everybody is doing this, sir. There's the 50 people behind you doing this exact same thing.
Yeah,
Tell me why.
That's I do kind of remember I would take my sports games in, and they'd be worth more when I was playing them. But as soon as the year would roll over and it'd be a new one, they would drop precipitously. It was like
Yeah.
dead. All right, Black Myth Wukong. We're all kind of curious about that, I think. I'm Wukong curious.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. This looks good.
beautiful.
I mean, is anyone going to buy it? It's pretty.
Not on
it's an
launch.
emo
I need to
game.
see reviews and hear friends talk. And
I think it comes with a lot of high-end graphic card upgrades. So I think someone needs to realize that there's at least one person on this show named John.
Yeah.
And get me a new video card and this game, because I think I'm going to need both in order to play it.
what are you rocking these days? GT or a GTX?
It's a
what?
3070.
Oh, yeah. I'm at a 30. What am I? 3080 is all. I mean, not.
Oh,
not-
really?
Not that it's
You're
bad,
not that far.
but I'm
You're
not.
that far off. My computer's been acting strange ever since I I did the upgraded hard drive.
Oh,
Like, I don't want to I'm not trying to disparage. The company was very nice, very kind.
yeah.
It's probably on me because I did fry one of the hard drives trying to replace it. But computer's been acting funky ever since I switched hard drives.
Well,
I
they
don't know
would
why.
help you again. I think. They're
I
very
don't
nice.
know. They did a lot for me. I don't want to bother them.
I know.
So.
It's because you're a nice guy. You know.
And I certainly don't want to have the conversation. So what do you offer in the way of graphics cards? You know, the cheapest part of the computer.
Yes, the one part that nobody pays the most for.
They haven't gone down in price, have they?
No, not really.
You can get a 4070 for several $100s.
Yeah,
on
4080s
sale,
and 90s. Those haven't budged.
Yeah, those are still pretty high up there.
Yeah, I don't know why. How about this one? Tactical Breach Wizards. I've been looking forward to this.
Love the name.
Yeah.
It seems cool.
This is August 22nd. This is what's his name? Let's see if they put his name in here. I always forget his name. But he used to work at PC Gamer in the UK. He quit, started making games, and the last two games he made I loved. So I'm stoked by this. XCOM like tactics, wizards in the future. I'm all in, dude.
Future wizard.
And listen to these names. Classes like Navy Seer instead of SEAL. Storm Witch, Necromedic, Rebel Riot Priest.
Yeah, it's like XCOM, but your SWAT team.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm stoked about this one.
SWAT team of Wizards. This is probably the game I want to play most out of anything on this list.
I'll definitely be buying that. What do we got here? Concord. Oh, hey, Concord. $40 game. No micros. Sony's really pushing this. So
is it releasing on PC at the same time?
Yep.
On August 23rd?
Yep. I think so. Yeah, I think it's fallen into the Helldivers 2 bracket where it's like, hey, we're doing both.
Yep.
Since we want people to play it.
Yeah, the alpha seemed to be people liked it.
I don't know. I'm going to add to the wish list and we'll see. There's tons of games to play. I just don't know if I'm into a team shooter right now. It's nothing against any of the games.
Now, this is my least favorite posting because it's World of Warcraft: The War Within, but they used art from like an old expansion. This
from
is
Cataclysm.
Yeah. So
it's really off-putting. You look at it and you go, ugh.
It's like, hold on, I'm not going back there. What the hell is this about? Yeah, these delves that are coming. I'm excited about that. There's a bunch of stuff. Well, we've talked about it. World of Warcraft, The World of Warcraft, The War Within. That's on the 26th. You also have Gundam Breaker 4. You got any Gundam fans here? Open Gundam style? Are you ready for this?
No, but I have to check to see if it's released. There's apparently a VR Gundam movie that isn't out yet that I wish listed.
A movie?
That looks awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of movies, and judging by the trailer, it's going to be a full, weird, crazy 3D experience, and I'm hoping it's really good because I definitely want to rave about a VR movie.
We got August 29th, Squirrel with a Gun. This has been getting a lot of meme treatment. And
it's a Scott game.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, look, a game Scott would play.
It's a game in the Scott genre.
It's kind of the goat simulator kind of thing. I don't know. I honestly haven't looked at this too much, but I'm kind of curious about it.
Actually, it looks pretty funny.
I mean, look at that! Look at the squirrel. He's running around.
I just watched him shoot a Secret Service agent in the head. Like he's.
Wow,
that's pretty funny.
Perfect timing. Then you got your Visions of Mana. John played the demo.
You can see a handsome cat man for yourself.
I'm trying to see if he's in here. He's not in this
image.
He's
not in that picture. I don't think they're using him a lot for marketing. I don't think he markets the game well.
He must suck, like you think. So I'm with you.
No, I don't know. I don't know if he sucks or not. So the next game you're gonna say, I'll say it. I'm cutting you off because I'm so excited about this stupid topic that popped up. Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
It's had maybe not a conversation I love in terms of how characters look on one side, but on a more positive, uplifting side, apparently, and this is just the kind of thing I get a kick out of. Apparently, that assassin droid that's in that little piece of art there, apparently people real thirsty over that assassin droid. Apparently, you put a trench coat on an assassin droid, you get people all sorts of hot and bothered.
Look at the aura on this guy. He's hot.
He's radiating it.
I don't know, man. I think that little monkey on her back is sexier. Just kidding. I don't think that.
What?
Whatever that is.
He is cute, though.
He is cute. Yeah, super cute. I actually am looking forward to this. Of the year's big releases, it's this and Space Marine I care the most about. I think the big AAA releases. You know, a lot of little things I'm into, but this thing.
So, question: is this you're gonna buy and try, or are you gonna wait for reviews?
I'm waiting for reviews on Outlaws.
Yeah, I might as well. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have a what do you call it? When they can't do reviews yet, what's that called?
Embargo.
If they embargo it post-release, or no, right up to release day, that'll annoy me, and then I won't buy it before. But if there are a bunch of reviews before release and they're positive, and they're from sources I trust, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, I will too. I've always said that just by being in Star Wars, my own bias, I'll give an extra star to whatever rating I would give it. So at its worst, it's a 1-star game for me.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 if you assume that like any game gets a star.
Yeah.
Like I have a feeling I would find something in here to enjoy, but I am very nervous about this game.
I am too, but I'm also, I don't know, I like Ubisoft's open worlds and I like Star Wars. It's hard for me.
I'm about 50-50 on Ubisoft. Sometimes I feel like they really capture it for me, and sometimes I feel like they just absolutely miss. So that's that's where it's hard for me. It's like it's Star Wars, that's great. It's Ubisoft open world, that's maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know.
Sure.
Sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. So
they need this
see.
to be a big hit. So that's going to be interesting to watch regardless. It's expensive. I could just do the Ubi Play thing for a month, and test it and do $15 and just play it and then cancel. I don't know. Or not Ubi, whatever it's called. Uplay? No, Ubisoft Connect. That's it now. It's a stupid name. You know what? Uplay, as much as it annoyed everybody, it's a better name than Ubisoft Connect. F that.
Yeah. Uplay is okay.
Uplay is an all right name. It's decent. It's okay. Yeah. What does Pac-Man think?
Decent.
Oh shit, that was loud. Sorry. Why does that Pac-Man sound so loud?
It wasn't on the list, but also I don't know why. Like the marketing on this is everywhere. To a degree where I was like, did they announce a new video game in this? And then I looked at it and I was like, oh no, it's a remake. Star Wars Bounty Hunter
Really?
is coming out. It's out today.
The old one.
And re-released Bounty Hunter. Yes.
No way.
It's on Steam as released today. It's going to be on Game Pass, I think, because I keep seeing it on like Game Pass advertisements. I believe. But yeah, Star Wars Bounty Hunter is $20.
It's reviewing well. It's not
they
a ton
aren't
of
even
reviews.
throwing like a remaster on there, but obviously it's something's increased. This is not what it looked like when it came out on PS2 or whatever.
It's definitely up-resed.
That might be 360. I don't remember what era this was from, but like,
oh my
you can
gosh,
unlock your Boba Fett skin in there. Like, I don't know. I'm weirdly like, should I buy this game and play it? I don't remember playing it when it came out.
Oh, PS2. You're right. Let's see. Very positive right now and 91%, but only 146 reviews. I guess it just came out today, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said. Yeah, it's getting received well. Looks like Asper maybe has a win on their hand for once. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's not, you can tell this is an older game remastered, but it's pretty good looking. Huh. My memory is I really liked this game. But maybe well, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it.
And who knows what all they did to it? Like, I don't know.
$20 to find out.
$20 or wait for Game Pass if it is in fact coming out on Game Pass. I heard it was, but it's not there. It's not showing up there for me now. So
there you go.
Maybe it's on Xbox or maybe it just hasn't hit PC yet. But
time for this.
Yeah, Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Yeah,
it's out there.
It's coming out there.
That's a good question.
Lots of Star Wars happening. Check out this text we got from a listener at 801-471-0462. This is from an anonymous texter. It says, just wondering if you guys have heard of the game Once Human. I definitely have. It's a post-apocalyptic setting that is a mix of Fallout and the Division survival game. It's worth a look. It's really a good game, he says. From Steam, it's described as Once Human is a multiplayer open-world survival set in a strange post-apocalyptic future. Unite with friends to fight monsters, enemies, uncover secret plots, compete for resources, and build your own territory. So it sounds like a survival game. Once you were merely human, now you have the power to remake the world. I have to admit, I've seen some weird-ass clips on YouTube of this thing where dudes are fighting some strange-looking creatures. Like, it looks compelling. But that's all I know. Is that it's sort of...
Yeah, it's supposed to be sort of MMO-y, I thought. Maybe it isn't.
It says, let's see, open world, multiplayer, survival, free-to-play are all the tags. Nothing says MMO, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have some MMO stuff.
I mean, in like PC gamers, like a deep, surprisingly sticky, truly free-to-play mashup of what you like from a bunch of other survival MMOs.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
So,
I mean, it could be survival MMO is just classified as its own genre, where it's like Ark or.
It is tagged as MMO in Steam. Like it isn't considered an MMO game. I guess it just means you can encounter other random players out in the world or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, some of
these
creatures...
games always seem cool to me on paper, and I always bounce off of them very quickly. So I've just become a lot more hesitant in buying them. Like, this does look cool, no doubt about it. But
yeah, this one's free to play though.
I just every single time I see a game like this, I'm like, oh, this would be awesome. And every time I've done it, I play it for a couple hours and then I'm done. And I'm just
I was interested in it. I just didn't get it. I just didn't get around to it. This is the end we talked about. Like, what do I feel like playing right now? I know this game is a new game, and I could be there's an argument to be playing it because it's new and I have interest in it, but I just kind of said, no, I'm going to play Yakuza. I'm going to play Zenless Zone Zero, and I just didn't get to this one. So came out 9th of July, so we're already almost a month into its release.
Yeah.
I've heard something weird about it. The game is structured in seasons, and you lose all progression between seasons, which some people have not liked.
Well, I don't love that either.
It wipes every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks it wipes?
What's one review is here, it says 6 weeks reset hurts my soul. So it's a survival game where you build stuff, but then every 6 weeks you got to start again from scratch.
I don't like that. I want things that are more persistent. I understand.
On paper, that's bad marketing. Like, even if it's a good thing, like if you're to get in and to taste it and be like, oh, I get why this makes sense and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Okay. But just having that out as like everyone's going to hear that who hasn't played the game and go like, what? Like you guys just did.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, and some people have said they don't like it because they gave it a bad review when they tried it and didn't like it. So I don't know. I may give this one a try at some point. I have been interested in it, but it's just I'm busy. I'm busy playing Yakuza. You know, there's lots of choices. You know, at the end of the day, it comes down to choice. What am I playing? What am I not playing?
Sure.
And it didn't pass muster in terms of interest. And I would try something if enough people in the audience was like, we really wanted to see you play this. And it's like, okay, well, I can try it for an hour. Like, that's not a problem if there's a lot of demand for it.
Yeah, and like people want to.
But
yeah, I get that.
But usually you guys don't really tell me. Like, I don't really feel like there's the unified front on, like, please play this game, with the exception of, like, World of Warcraft is the one I think I see a lot. And Final Fantasy XIV, probably.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you just missed the music you used to bring into our lives, Beau.
Yeah, I miss that a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, he does other cool stuff. Here's some music from
our
Beau.
Favorite bard.
This is Beau right here.
Now that is something you could actually do that would be 100% unique. You could bard your own songs in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, I like that.
Everybody bards the Final Fantasy VII theme music or popular pop songs.
But it's not as much fun because people will just walk by you. But like if you're playing something, people know they'll like you'll see them stutter step in the game. Like they're walking past you and like, wait, is that bastard really playing Toss a Coin to the Witcher or whatever? And I love that. I got addicted to that feeling when they're like they had to double take and stop and come back. Oh yeah.
So it's not all just this on repeat.
No, it's mostly pop music.
Okay.
Don't play Final Fantasy stuff. You play the power of music is that it's something people recognize and it hits them.
Yeah.
What you need to do is on a weekend, Scott, go to Limsa and you will find people playing music and just listen and see if you can guess the song.
As long as I don't have to call it by its full name, I'll go to that city. It's not a problem.
What was your starting city?
I'll go with Limsa. I started in Gradania. Yeah,
you got to call it Limsa Limensa. You're not from there. You got to call it Limsa Limensa.
What if I? But
wait, is that really a rule? You can only call it Limsa if you're from Limsa.
That's a rule I'm making up right now.
Yeah. But,
you don't get to be casual about Limsa if you aren't from there.
But I had a tryst with Werabeb Goobagerb, or whatever her name is.
You can't even say her name.
I can't do it.
Wait, do you really have a tryst with Mirrorweb?
No, you can't do that. As far as I know, you can't. I don't know.
No, Final Fantasy has been very selective and like
it doesn't
giving you the opportunity where you can add it to your own head canon, but never locking you in.
Yeah. Oh, there's no Honkhonks like in Yakuza.
There is, when the Dragon Quest event is going, there is Puff Puffs.
Oh, well, how do we feel about that?
Is it the same as Honkhonks or is it different?
It's pretty much the same as Honkhonks.
Oh, really? I didn't know you could get it.
I think it's implied. Well, Scott, you've played Dragon Quest before. Yeah. You're familiar with the Puff Puff.
Oh yeah, the Puff Puffs, the slimes, and the pickle-looking dudes. I guess they're not pickled.
Is there Honkhonks in Dragon Quest?
That's where they came from, right? I think. Is that wrong, John? They came from that.
What?
Honkhonks.
Honkhonks?
Yeah.
No, Puff Puffs are.
Oh, Puff Puffs is what I meant. Yeah, sorry, I confused.
Honkhonks are when you go and get a BJ from someone in Yakuza. I don't.
Yeah, this isn't the same. Puff Puffs are, I think. I I don't know.
Hold on a minute. That's really called a
I
Hong
was
Kong?
Puffs are
asking him
imaginary.
if a puff puff was the same as a Hong Kong.
I think I did say yes, but it's
My
not.
favorite
No,
Hong
it's
Kong in
not.
Yakuza was the very old sushi chef man that you get a Hong Kong from.
Is that a real
charges
thing?
$1,000.
That's a thing.
I don't think it's a blowjob. Don't they just squeeze it? Don't they just give you a honk honk?
I don't know what to
I
say.
don't.
Isn't that what it is? Like you treat it
don't
like a horn and you honk honk.
They don't show anything. You just they're like, you want a Hong Kong? It'll really relieve you, and the screen fades to pink with hearts.
Well, yeah,
floating
this is
around.
the same. This part is what I mean when I say it's the same as a puff puff, because a puff puff is always somebody with big boobs going like swaying back and forth, going, "You want a puff puff?" And then the screen fades to black or pink, and then puff 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 puff, and then you come back and everybody's all red and embarrassed.
It's this implied thing where you're like,
yes.
It's a, what do they call it?
It's an implied unspecified sexual act.
You see what you want to see in the mirror, kind of thing.
Yes.
So I see BJ's, but really, maybe it's you think it's just a little tug.
I just think it's
a
like
rub and tizug.
yeah, I think it's just bam, bam.
It's a J-Rock special, not J-Rock. Is it Tyrone? Tyrone's really good at
Tyrone is good
I've
at those.
never once thought about a blowjob as a honk honk, but somebody giving a quick squeeze, I think, is like a honk honk. Like
Okay.
that's a honk honk.
I can't argue with you. It's just occurring to me now. It's an assumption I made that I'm just, because it's in an alley and they're like, "Hey, honey, give me $300 for a good time." I assume it's a honk.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's worth the money.
There's someone in chat who apparently knows where it comes from.
Really?
Left-hand Heathen says it derives from honking the bobo. It's a blowjob.
Honking
Oh.
a bobo.
I've never heard of honking.
I
Wouldn't
don't
that
know.
just-
I'm like, like I now believe that maybe it's from a blowjob, but I don't know what honking.
But
the
wouldn't that
bobo
just turn
means.
everyone involved off? You go, "Hey, baby, you want to honk a bobo?"
I think
You
if
want
you're in
to
an,
honk a bobo?
I think if you're in an alleyway or underneath the Queen Street Bridge, getting anything like that, your threshold for being turned off is quite low.
What is the Queen Street Bridge, by the way? Where is that? Is that Canada?
The Norm Macdonald thing. That's where Adam Egget goes to
Oh.
earn his $15. He goes under the Queen Street Bridge to give Honkhonks at $15 a man.
Oh, I miss him. I miss him so much
Yeah.
sometimes. All right, well done. Now it's time.
Great.
Oh,
We ended as strong as we started.
we really did. I want to put out a reminder though, because we want to give this thing away. So Tanner generously giving away a heroic edition of the expansion, The War Within, for World of Warcraft, and you could be a random winner. You could be a lucky winner. We're only doing this for the core show. Nobody else is getting involved. So
Unless
go fill
you
it out.
guess our super secret web address.
Yeah, which I guess you could do, but not really. It's frogpants.com/contest. We made it real simple. I suppose anybody can go there. But whoever wins, you'll be one lucky winner, and I want you to win. And it's really nice that Tanner did this. So, and that Beau passed on it before Tanner gave it away to somebody else. But that's why Beau, he did it. He bought 2 versions of the game. He wanted to give one away, and now you could be the winner of the expansion. Heroic edition even. So check it out. frogpants.com/contest. We'll let this run 1 Earth week. All right. So next Thursday, we'll announce the winner based on your
I
entries.
hate when contests are Saturn weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saturn
'cause
is
I
a
don't-
weird calendar.
I can't keep track of that.
Yeah, I can't either. So so that's the
Freaking
thing.
Saturn.
Get in there, get on that. Real quick note about our patrons. We got a bunch of new people this week, and I owe them all a name read. Eric Hansen, Brian Sam Mulemeester, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I think you're good so far.
Pretty close, right? Thomas Bro. There's no H in Thomas. I like that. Christopher Cy. That's not the same person. 2 people. L Sky. Jack William. That's a dude with 2 first names. Angel Rodriguez Sierra. Axel Wodge. Crash. And Maisel. I got all of them right.
Damn.
I think you did
got them all
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of nailed it.
And damn, a lot
Patreon.com/core
of new
show.
patrons. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the Patreon.
Enjoy your first episode.
Yeah,
this
I'm
week.
sorry for your first bonus content that you're about to get, man.
You're welcome / I'm sorry for your first episode.
You're going to learn some things about John that you never would have guessed prior to today's pre-show. But anyway,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about it a lot.
So you get those pre-shows that I just mentioned. You'll get you'll get monthly benefits, including video game art in the mail, host specials every month. I believe it's John's turn again. We've swung back around.
Oh,
for
is
August.
it?
For
Okay,
August.
Well, I can do that.
I mean, today's the 1st, so we just barely rolled over. But anyway, happy 1st, everybody, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm a content generating machine. I'll get that to you fast.
Toot sweet. Unlike me, I'll forget, and 2 months later you'll get one from me. But anyway, we love doing those, and we want you to hear them. So sign up today and get no commercials, no ads. All that stuff goes away at patreon.com/core show. Everything else is at frogpants.com/core, and it is now down to this. Grandma takes the microphone and reminds you once more, even though we were really good at telling you in the time that we did it, what games we played today. Grandma, take it away.
Well, there was a whole pile of games that everybody played today, so let's go through them together. Scott played World of Warcraft, The War Within, the pre-patch. He complained about it and they fixed it. It's almost like he knows someone on the inside. He also played Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. That was the weird game.
Yep.
That was called Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. He also played Maybe Shapes with a Z too. He didn't really say he did, but he didn't say he didn't. John played Path of Exile, Final Fantasy XIV. He got scared away by a fancy Catman in the Visions of Mana demo, and he's still playing Fortnite because he hates free-to-play video games. Beau played Yakuza Infinite Wealth and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Not to be confused with Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a totally different game. But it's extremely weird that they both played it this week.
Oh, yeah, tiny games.
You played Tiny Terry's game, and I played Tiny Tina's game.
Yeah, they should get together and have Tiny Thomas and Tina.
No, what was the name? What was the name John said? Norma China. Francito. What was the name? You had one really weird one that was.
I don't remember.
You were like, there's Norman and Norma Bomba Man or something like that.
Couldn't tell you.
Francis McGeister.
There it is. You nailed it. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Come back Thursday and listen for another one next week. And if you want to be here live, we do it at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we record all night until the freaking wee hours of the evening. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frogpants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
An old favorite.
Space!
There you go.
Space!